Members of the starting offensive unit for the Stevenson Mustangs at left tackle, number 74, Alex Aviles. Left guard, 78, John Watkins. The center is number 64, Jake Miller. At right guard, number 61, Joe Pena. At right tackle, 63, Ethan Ferguson. The tight end, number 31, Tyler Blake. At wide receiver, number 1, Darian Littlejohn. And number 7, Stephen Smothers. And number 13, Amir Moore. The running back, number 3, Kevin Joppy. And the quarterback is number 12, Ryan Sedgwick. Stevenson University's head coach is Ed Hoddle.
Okay. Okay.
The officials for this afternoon's contest, the referee is Dave Herder. The umpire, Vittorio Ferguson. The head linesman, Joseph Bonacci. The line judge, Joseph Glasser. Side judge is George Bory. The field judge, Michael Record. And the back judge is Anthony Stanza.
Like I can run midfield, like something. So like I don't know. Skipping. And like I don't think I'm like a better midfielder than anyone else. But like start. Yeah. So.
Please welcome the engineers. We direct your attention to the goal post in the north end of the field. And let's meet the starting defense for your RPI Engineers. At defensive end, number 11, C.J. Shoemaker. At defensive tackle, number 94, Connor Ahern. The nose guard for the Engineers, number 97, Josh Cohen. At a rover, number 4, Magnus Swamble. Linebackers, number 33, Cole McGrath. Number 10, Austin Charles. Number 45, Joe Deptula. At cornerback is number 2, C.J. Lyons. Free safety, number 5, Francis Perry. Strong safety, number 35, Spencer Brockdorf. And at cornerback, number 8, Chris Combs. And the rest of the Engineers and head coach, Ralph Weisernia. The officials have called the captains to the center of the field. RPI captains, number 2, Vinnie McDonald. Number 9 is Amechi Kanko. Number 10, Austin Charles. And number 11, George Marinopoulos.
No flag on, baby. No flag on. Yeah! You like that? Ah. My boy!
there, guys. Go ahead and shake hands for me, please. Stevenson, you shut this is what you're called. Tails is the call. It is tails. You want to toss with it? Defer. Stevenson has won the toss and is elected to defer. To the ball. Whatever you do this time.
Like that is
To the end zone, the back to the end zone. Stevenson will kick off and start the game. Shake hands, guys. Stevenson has won the toss. They'll defer their decision to the second half. They'll defend the north end zone and kick off. The Engineers will receive the opening kickoff. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask now that you please stand. We hear now from the 18th President of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, the Honorable Shirley Ann Jackson, PhD. Dr. Jackson is joined by Navy ROTC midshipmen led by Lucas Willis.
Good morning, everyone. As all of you know, today marks the 20th anniversary of the lethal attack on the United States on September 11, 2001. Earlier this morning, I was very honored to join members of our Naval, Army, and Air Force ROTC units at the approach as they ran up the approach 15 times in honor of the first responders at the World Trade Center who ran up 110 stories, and hundreds of them lost their lives in working to save others. As you further know, we lost 55 members of our military when one of the planes hit the Pentagon. And of course, we know of the very brave members of Flight 93 who decided to not let that plane make it to Washington. And they gave their lives to protect our leadership in our country. And so that's why I'm very honored to be joined today by members of our ROTC unit, and of course by members of our public safety organization who represent the kinds of first responders who work to save so many lives and to keep us all safe. And so as you're about to begin this game, I just ask you to join me in a moment of silence in honor of all of those who lost their lives on September the 11th, 2001, and all of those who have given their lives since then in continuing conflicts, and those who most recently lost their lives in Kabul in helping U.S. citizens and Afghans to safely leave that country. Along the way, we have lost members of the Rensselaer family. And so as we bow our heads in silence and think our individual thoughts, just remember, please, and honor all of those. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Enjoy the game, and go Engineers.
We ask you to please remain standing to honor and respect our great nation and the men and women who have served and continue to serve America. We ask that you please remain standing and remove your hats as the RPI Pep Band plays the national anthem of the United States of America.
Sunny, not even partly sunny today, just sunny here in Troy in the 70s. Another excellent day if you're going to come out and watch a football game.
Set you up for the uniforms here. RPI with their home set, black pants, red jerseys, black helmets with RPI written across the top. Stevenson Mustangs, their main colors are black, dark green, and white. They're all whites today with silver numbers and black helmets with green trim.
First and 10 RPI at their own 26. Single wide out to the left, two to the right. Munoz Watson in the backfield. George Marinopoulos is the quarterback for RPI. Man goes in motion. He's going to take the pitch. RPI, Lombardi is going to try heading upfield as he goes off the left side of the line, and he gets to the 30-yard line.
And if you heard the pregame interview with Coach Isernia, one of the things he said was to establish the run. I mean, RPI is mainly a passing team. You look at their numbers from last week.
Well, the run didn't get anywhere last week.
Right. And they had to rely on the pass, but they want to at least start out trying to establish the run and make it a little bit more 50-50 than 2-1 or 3-1.
RPI looking over to the sidelines. It's a 2nd and officially 7 for the Engineers. They're on the left hash right now. 2 wideouts stacked on the left. 1 is to the right. And now RPI was going to send Schrader in motion. He shifts over to the right into a slot back position. And we have a whistle, the timeout RPI. It could have been they weren't going to get that playoff.
I don't think they were, and there was a lot of confusion. Looking to the sideline, signals just weren't quite set, and time was running down. Tough to want to burn a timeout, though, 55 seconds into the game. But I guess they didn't want to get backed up, and they're right now looking at 2nd and 7, very doable, as opposed to 2nd and 12, where you feel like you're in trouble already on the first possession.
I think if you're Coach Isernia, you want to get the offense to at least get a first down on this first possession, because they couldn't get anything moving last week until the very end of the first half. It was neither side. Last week, Montclair State was barely better than RPI for most of the first half. I mean, barely. And both teams had trouble moving. So I think he's really concerned that RPI's offense needs to at least produce something on this first possession. We are 2nd and 7 here in the first quarter. No score. RPI with the first possession of the game at their own 29-yard line. 3 wideouts to the right this time. Marinopoulos has time, puts the ball up in the air to the left, looking for Lombardi, and does he have it? Yes! Lombardi, with tight coverage, is able to pull it down at the 27 of Stevenson for a first down.
That was really thrown into tight coverage, as you mentioned. The defensive back, Jacob Batoff, was right on Lombardi, but the thing is he never looked back for the ball. I mean, he was right in Lombardi's face, but he never looked back, and Lombardi was able to haul it in and hang on to it after the 2 began tussling for it at about the 30. He falls forward to the 27. First big play of the afternoon.
13:35 to go here, first quarter. No score. 4 wideouts for RPI. Marinopoulos out of the shotgun. Munoz Watts in the backfield. And he's going to, he's going to give to Munoz Watts. He's going to cut upside. Inside, pardon me. He's going to get to the 15. That'll be a first down as he's finally stopped at the 14-yard line.
They ran it off the left side tackle, and boy, there was a wide hole there for Munoz Watts, and he just cut right through it and inside the 20.
Another first down for RPI. 13:10 to go here in the first quarter. 4 wideouts for the Engineers. 3 to the right. Munoz Watts is behind Marinopoulos in this formation.
Taking some time to get the signals from the sideline, which caused them to call it first timeout earlier.
Down to 7 seconds on the play clock. Now they'll send Lombardi in towards the line and fake the handoff. Lombardi gets the pass. That's a reception to the 15, to the 10. Lombardi to the 5, and he's forced out at about the 3-yard line. That'll be a 1st and goal RPI.
Well, Lombardi was wide right. He moved back into the middle, but then when the snap came, he broke to the wide right side. And that play was really made possible by a good block by Riley Convoy. The other receiver who was out wide right was able to let Lombardi get around the end and inside the 10-yard line.
1st and goal RPI down at the 3. 12:20 to go first quarter. No score in Troy. First possession of the game. Only 1 wide out for RPI. Handoff goes to Munoz Watts. He's going to go straight up the middle, but he's going to get stopped short of the goal line. I think they got him down at the 2. So RPI not able to put it in on first down and goal. This is already a better first quarter than last week, regardless of how this turns out. Same basic formation. You've got a slot back. You've got Munoz Watts behind Marinopoulos. Throw towards the corner, and that's going to be broken up, but a flag's coming out for pass interference. McDonald was the intended receiver, but the defender was all over him.
Yeah, he made contact. He had his arms wrapped around him. He was even pulling McDonald backwards before the ball even got there. That was number 20, Batoff. Same guy who got burned for the long reception by Lombardi. That was just a quick one-step drop by Marinopoulos and looking for McDonald in the corner. And, you know, if you're Baytoff, you're probably thinking, why not grab him? Because otherwise it's a touchdown anyway.
Yeah, you really don't have much to lose at that point.
Right.
The ball's at the 2. It's going to go to the 1. You maybe stop the touchdown. 3 officials threw flags.
Anyway.
They all agreed, everybody in the corner on that side of the field, that was a penalty. And first and goal from the 1. Munoz Watts takes a handoff, runs to the right, gets tripped up, and is he down short, or did he fumble?
They say fumble.
He fumbled? Yeah. Well, here's my question. When did he fumble?
Yeah, I know. That's what the
They're going to talk now.
Talking right now. Did he land on his arm with the ball down and then therefore down and then it popped loose? It was the far side, the far right corner from us, so we couldn't see him when he hit the ground. And all the referees are now conferring at the 1-yard line on the far right corner of the field. Stevenson thinks they have a fumble, but he might have been down by contact.
Dave Hergert, the referee.
And it's called a touchback.
Yeah, so he said it was fumbled at the 1, went into the end zone, recovered by Stevenson, and that is a touchback. So Stevenson gets it at the 20. So there were a lot of things going on there. It was a difficult place for us to see. That's at the far corner, and there were people in front of us. Even when I looked at the replay, I wasn't sure what was going on the big screen. I wasn't sure exactly what happened. My questions were, did he cross the plane? But it looks like the officials say no, he was at the 1 when he lost the ball. At which point, if he actually lost it and he wasn't tackled, then it goes into the end zone fumble, recovery by Stevenson, pardon me. I'm going to try to get that right now. So Stevenson has it at their own 20. 11:23 to go here in the first quarter, no score. First play for Stevenson. They're going to keep this on the ground, and that's going to be a rush out to about the 22-yard line.
And just going back to the last play for a second, really the important part of that play was made by the linebacker for the Mustangs, Josh Siegenthaler. He came just on an all-out sprint from the end zone and got the knee of Munoz Watts and sent him airborne at about the 2. And somewhere he lost the ball before he came down at the 1, the officials ruled.
Bad snap. They ended up getting a handoff to Joppy. Joppy had the rush on the first down. He's going to take the handoff after the rough snap, I should say, and he gets out to near the 27-yard line to make it a 3rd down and 3. And that was Cedric. Ryan Cedric is the quarterback for Stevenson.
A lot of seniors and juniors in the skill positions for the Mustangs, led by Sedgwick. We got a veteran receiving core with Littlejohn and Steven Smothers as well, Amir Moore, some quality players in the skill spots for Stevenson.
3rd down and 3. Cedric out of the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. He's going to throw. That's incomplete. Was looking for Corey Jones around the 35-yard line, but it was too high. Falls incomplete, and the punt team is coming out for the Mustangs.
A little high, but also there was Spencer Brockoff, the defensive back for the Engineers, a junior out of Clarksville, Maryland. He made the hit right as the ball hit the receiver's hands, making sure that wouldn't be caught.
So Kevin Sheehan will be back to punt for Stevenson on this 4th down and 3. High snap. Sheehan brings it down, avoids the rush. RPI is going to take it at the 38-yard line. No fair catch, and, well, that probably should have fair caught that ball. That was Henderson. No, that wasn't Henderson. That was Spellman, pardon me, for RPI on the punt return. He didn't get any yards. He caught the ball and then got tackled.
Boy, they almost got that block there. That was number 6, Dennis DeSico, flying in from the right side. And I don't know about you, Kurt, but when he came in, I thought he had the angle down. And somehow or another, the punter just evaded the block there.
No score. 10:02 to go here, first quarter. RPI with their 2nd possession today. They're at their own 38 with a 4 wideout formation. Low snap, picked up by Marinopoulos. Throws, it's incomplete. He was looking for McDonald right around the 50. McDonald got hit right after that.
Yeah, he got hit in the knee or the thigh, and he's down, face down on the ground right now. The ball was a little bit low. McDonald will probably tell you he should have had it, but it was probably about thigh high. And he got hit right as the ball, right after the ball hit his hands. He couldn't hang on to it, and now he's down for a bit. Let's go back to the first drive, and I'm kind of chuckling now because they had the ball at the 2. They tried to throw a fade out to the left corner or rather cut back into Benny McDonald. The Stevenson defender, Batoff, made an obvious interference play, basically tackled him before the ball got there. And we were saying, well, maybe he prevented a touchdown, maybe he just delayed it. And look at what happened. That ended up being a smart play because the very next play, the Engineers fumble at the 1, ball rose into the end zone. What should have been an opening drive TD is thwarted, and here we are 0-0 with 9:58 to go in the quarter. Well,
there are certain times when taking the penalty is a smart thing to do.
And
if they're already on the 2 and you're looking and you say that guy's going to get a touchdown, take him down. What are you giving up? You're giving up a yard. If it's 4th down, maybe you try to knock it away, but you're going to give him a 1st down and a yard, but you don't know what's going to happen on the next play.
And again, most of the time, all you're doing is delaying a touchdown, but not this time.
The other time is late in the quarter, late in the half.
Right.
When they're throwing deep, and it's only 15 yards on a pass interference in college. If they're throwing deep and it's 50 yards downfield and you say, hey, he's going to grab that, take him down. Give up the 15.
And now McDonald is being helped off the field with a couple of RPI assistants, and that's not good for the Engineers. McDonald, their leading receiver, last week in the opener, 7 catches for 139 yards and a touchdown. And we'll have to see if this is a temporary injury or if he looks okay now, putting some more weight on it as he gets to the sideline.
Back to action, 2nd and 10 for RPI at their own 38-yard line. They're on the right hash. Marinopoulos is going to hand off, and this is going to, I was about to say this is going to be a 1st down, but in there, Christian Buckley, who's the number 2 RB on the depth chart, is now in there as running back. He kind of slipped as he tried to make a cut at the 44 and ended up on the ground.
Yeah, he was trying to cut back to the grain onto the left, and if he had done so successfully and gotten around the defender, he might have had a lot of room to run. He had the right instinct, but slipped as he tried to make a sharp cut.
3rd down and 4 RPI at their own 44-yard line. Buckley's in there as a running back. 3 receivers bunched together to the left. Somebody moved early. We're going to get a flag on this. I haven't seen anything. RPI is going to go for a lot, and it's going to be incomplete as they went downfield towards the 10-yard line. But I'm not seeing a flag, and Ralph Izerni is wondering, where's the flag here, guys?
Yeah, and even the quarterback, George Marinopoulos, looking at the refs, too. I think they sensed there was going to be an offside call, and that's why they just throw the bomb 30 yards down the field, and if it works out, but it didn't. And so now RPI is going to have to punt.
If they weren't in the neutral zone when that happened, you're splitting hairs there. You're really splitting hairs on that play if the referees are saying they were not in the neutral zone at the snap. 4th down, RPI is going to send Moncrief out to punt. Has trouble with the snap, gets the ball away. It's going to bounce around, and RPI is going to wave at the ball to try to get a little bit more on it, and it's going to be stopped down by RPI at the 11-yard line. 8:59 to go here, 1st quarter, no score.
Well, benefit there for the Engineers. That ball got probably 13, 15, 16 yards on the roll. Hit somewhere around the 27, 25-yard line in the air, and got an extra roll all the way down to the 11.
Let's go, Red State!
Last week, Stevenson opened against Johns Hopkins, which has been a terrific program in Division III, and boy, they just got their heads handed to them. They lost 53-18. They were never in that game. They were down 27-3 at half, and basically were forced to pass all game.
Cedricks hands off on 1st down, and I think it's Joppy on the carry. Joppy's going to get stopped at the 13-yard line. Pushed back afterwards, but forward progress has him at the 13.
Yeah, and like we were just saying, they passed the entire game against Hopkins because they were behind. What they would like to do is have a much more balanced attack, much like RPI. You want it closer to 50-50 than 3-1 passing, which is what they had in the season opener against Johns Hopkins.
2nd down for Stevenson at the 13-yard line. Out of the shotgun. Sedgwick pass. That is complete out to about the 23. That'll be a first down. I think that was Corey Jones on the reception. Yeah,
yep.
Jones got it.
Yeah, nice play by Jones. He was hit and then dive right as he caught the ball, but hung on to it.
3 receivers stacked to the left on first down. Smothers takes the reception. He was the trailer of all 3 of those receivers, and he's going to make it out to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, that standard play where you got 3 guys out on the far left, and one of them drops back a couple of yards to get the reception while the other 2 act as blockers. You might see a lot of plays to the left here with Sedgwick because he is a left-handed quarterback.
7:40 to go first quarter, no score. Joppy to the left of Sedgwick. Sedgwick throws left. That's complete. This should be another first down. Out right at the marker was Littlejohn.
Yeah, just it took off. He was alone on the left side, went about 5 out and curled back in. Perfect timing play, and they didn't need much for the first down, and they pick up another.
First and 10, ball at the 34 of Stevenson. No score, 7:15 to go here, first quarter. Single wideouts each side. Slot back on the right, man in the backfield. And Sedgwick pass is tipped, and that goes incomplete.
It looked like number 11, C.J. Shoemaker, a junior defensive lineman out of Charlton, Massachusetts, that got a handle on the first deflection of the game for the Engineers.
Second and 10 at the 34-yard line. Keep it on the ground. This is going to go left to the 35, 36 on the forward progress.
Boy, a good read by the defensive line of the Engineers. The whole right side of the line flowing with that play. Didn't allow Joppy any room whatsoever. He was just kind of leaned forward and got a couple.
I think we all agree up here that Stevenson needs to have slightly darker numbers on their uniform.
Yeah, they're white jerseys with silver numbers, and on a bright, sunny day, it's a little hard to pick up sometimes.
Ball's at the 36 for a 3rd down and 8 for the Mustangs. Sedgwick wants to throw, doesn't see anything downfield. He's under pressure. Now he's going to throw it along the sidelines and almost picked off, bouncing around. It's like a volleyball out there. RPI does intercept the ball, and whoever got it is going to be out around the...
I believe it's 45, Deptula, I believe. He was, yes, 45.
There's a flag out also, so there's a flag. They have to sort this out. But that ball got bounced around a lot around the 45.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And we're looking here on the replay. Sedgwick was under pressure from Shoemaker, so he just unloaded it off his back foot, didn't have much on it. Tipped twice by the Engineers, and then all of a sudden there was a scrum of about 3 red jerseys and 1 white one, all clogged up at about the 45, and Deptula was the one who came up with it. But we'll see what the flag is here.
Well, this isn't going to count. Holding against RPI. So that play's not making the highlight reel.
Well, you know, 2 big plays here in the first quarter, both involving turnovers. One that was a turnover at the goal line, the Engineers fumbling into the end zone as they were trying to score. And then here, a would-be turnover. The Engineers would have had an interception and the ball deep in Mustang territory, but it is undone by a defensive holding penalty. New life for Stevenson. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 46. They're going left to right as you're listening on the radio, and they're on the far left hash right now.
For those that are familiar with the geography, they are heading towards the arena. RPI in this quarter is heading towards the open end of the stadium, the north end. Joppy on first down goes left and then straight ahead, makes it to the 50-yard line for a gain of 4. .555 to go first quarter, no score here in Troy. Joppy will be behind Sedgwick in the backfield. 2 receivers each side. They're stacked. And Joppy takes the handoff, finds a hole. He's got a first down, 45-40. Joppy to the 35 before he's finally put on the ground.
Well, the Mustangs have been trying to run him a little bit wide. That time it was more of an up-the-middle run and had a lot of room all the way to the 35.
Looks to me like Cole McGrath on the tackle there. Pass in the flat. We've got a flag on the RPI side of the field. The pass in the flat would have been for a loss, but I don't think this play counts. False start against Stevenson. That will back them up 5. They'll get the down back, so it'll be 1st and 15 at the 40-yard line for Stevenson. 5:15 to go here in quarter number 1. No score. Three receivers wide right for the Mustangs. But they'll go to the ground, and that's going to be a pickup of 5. Is that Walker on the carry? Yes, I believe that was
Brandon Walker.
Yeah, that was Walker on the carry. So the pep band is here again, as they were last week, but we have a smaller crowd in the stands for today's game. RPI crossed over, and that's going to be a whistle. But did anybody put a flag on the field?
No foul.
It's a do-over. 2nd and 10 at the 35 for the Mustangs. That's RPI's 35-yard line. Second possession for Stevenson today. Sedgwick throws sideline, and that was off target, not catchable, looking for Littlejohn.
Yeah, had to hurry that a bit. A lot of pressure from a couple of RPI defenders there, specifically Magnus Womble, defensive lineman, 6'4", 225 out of Delaware. He's really coming in there, putting some pressure on Sedgwick.
Alex Aviles, John Watkins, Jake Miller, Joe Pina, and Ethan Ferguson are the line up front for Stevenson. Tight ends. And we are going to get a flag here. Somebody made a mistake because a defender just bowled over the center.
Yep, never even got the ball off. See what, of course, both sides pointing either way.
RPI is getting blamed for this. 3rd and 10 is going to become a 3rd and 5.
As Langford's lined up at nose guard.
Darian Littlejohn, Stephen Smothers, and Amir Moore are the wide receivers. Kevin Joppy is the running back, and Ryan Sedgwick is the quarterback for Stevenson. Third and 5 at the 30. Smothers goes in motion to the left. Sedgwick has time, throws over the middle. That is complete down to the 15-yard line to Corey Jones, and that'll be a first down for Stevenson.
A little bit of a mix-up in the defensive coverage. The Engineers had 2 guys near him, Austin Charles, the linebacker, and also number 33, Cole McGrath, 2 linebackers, but they kind of crossed each other and ended up leaving the receiver wide open down around the 15.
3:35 to go first quarter, no score. Stevenson 1st and 10 at the RPI 15-yard line. The receiver set. They'll go to the ground. Joppy to the 12. Stevenson with a sustained drive here. When did they get the ball? 8:59. They've had the ball for over 5.5 minutes on this drive. Joppy picked up 3 on that first down. Ball's on the 12.
And they're doing well establishing the run. First quarter rushing yards 35, passing yards 36, which is where Stevenson wanted to be with its offense.
Fake to Joppy. Cedric's going to keep it himself. Flag on the play. That's coming from the referee, and he's going to be down at the 6, but I think this is coming back. Holding against Stevenson.
Yeah, pretty quick flag. Couldn't see the offender from here, but that yellow flag came out pretty quickly there in the backfield.
Defense for RPI, you got C.J. Shoemaker, Connor Ahern, Josh Cohen, and Magnus Womble. Then linebackers Cole McGrath, Austin Charles, and Joe Deptula. The cornerbacks are C.J. Lyons and Chris Gomes. And the safeties are Francis Perry and Spencer Brockdorf.
Now it's second and long, second down at 17, ball on the 22. Now the penalties really putting Stevenson in a difficult position, probably a passing situation now.
4 wideouts, Cedric wants to pass. He's going to go looking for the corner into heavy coverage, and was that caught? No, incomplete. Little John, I thought, came down with it, but
he
then
never
it
had
came loose.
Yeah, he never had it fully. It looked like he might be able to, but at the same time, it was kind of a fade out to the sideline of the end zone. And even if he came down with his hands on the ball, I think he would have been out of bounds. That was almost like a play where they were determined to go to Little John on the right corner because he was pretty well covered, and Sedgwick tried to force that one in. Probably beneficial that it was far enough to the sideline that the ball ended up out of bounds anyway, rather than being intercepted or anything.
3rd and 17 at the 22. Sedgwick under pressure, rolls back to the 35, still under pressure. Sedgwick trying to run forward now, gets hit at the 30, and he is sacked. He never had time to go anything with that ball.
Yeah, chased by 3 guys, eventually brought down by Connor Noyes, the junior linebacker out of Dalton, Mass, but Shoemaker was back there as well. Sedgwick running for his life for the first time. The Engineers really got a lot of pressure on the Mustang quarterback, and now we're looking at what, 4th down and 23, and I don't think they're going to kick. It's probably a little bit out of the range. It'll be about a 45-yard field goal, so they are going to go for it. 4th down, they've got to get down to the 5 for a first down, so look for a deep throw into the end zone.
Sedgwick out of the shotgun, under pressure, and gets away from it, lost his helmet. That should be it. That's it. That's the play's over.
That was number 94 coming in there for the Engineers on the tackle. And the sack is going to get credited for, right?
Yeah, that's a sack. That's a sack. He stopped at the 38. So the rule is you lose your helmet, the ball carrier, play is over.
Yeah, Connor Ahern with the sack credited all the way back to the 38-yard line, so another loss of 10. So a terrific defensive stand for the Engineers. Stevenson had the ball first down and 10 at the 15. 4 plays later, they ended up turning it over at the 38, so they went backwards 23 yards on that one set of downs.
1st and 10, RPI at their own 38. 1:31 to go here, first quarter, no score. RPI's offense hasn't been out there for a while. Play action, Marinopoulos gets away from the first pressure, gets hit by the second man, and he's going to be down at the 41-yard line, picks up 3.
Yeah, nearly a sack. It wasn't obviously the intended play at the beginning, but defensive lineman Jason Scott coming in from the left side got in there in a hurry, got one hand on Marinopoulos, but the quarterback slipped through and was able to make a positive gain of about 3 yards on that play.
Second down and 7 for RPI. Marinopoulos takes the snap. Looking downfield, he's going to get under pressure again. Shovel pass, that is complete to McDonald, who's back in the game, and he's out to the 46.
Well, 2 good ad-lib plays in a row by Marinopoulos under pressure. He kept it on first down and picked up 3. This time he was, again, in deep trouble. Saw McDonald in the middle of the field, kind of just a shovel pass forward, able to get another 5 yards, setting up a 3rd and 2. They might not get another play off here.
No, they have to. The play clock is
right.
less than the game clock by about 2 seconds.
15 seconds left in the quarter.
3rd down and 2 at the 46 for RPI. Marinopolis in the flat. Complete to Munoz Watts. He's going to get the first down. He made it to the 50, and the clock will stop while the chains technically move, but RPI does not have to run a play. They will not. First quarter ends here in Troy. No score between RPI and Stevenson.
Well, it's certainly an interesting first quarter. Both teams with deep drives and coming up with no points. The Engineers had a first and goal at the 1, but Munoz Watts fumbled as it looked like he was headed into the end zone. He was hit and upended at the 1, fumbled into the end zone. Stevenson recovers for a touchback. Stevenson had a deep drive itself, had a first and goal at the 15 of the Engineers, but self-destructed through bad passes and then penalties and then RPI sacks. They ended up going backwards 23 yards and ending up at the 38. So we finished with the first quarter at 0-0 and a stats table that looks pretty even as well. First downs 5 apiece. Rushing yards, Stevenson up there 22-4. Passing yards, RPI with the advantage 67-36. But overall yardage pretty even, 71-58. And both teams seeming to move the ball okay at times, but then running into trouble in the first quarter.
If you were curious where Stevenson is, it is in Maryland. It is northwest of Baltimore, just beyond the Beltway that circles Baltimore. I think, is that 495?
It's in Owings Mills. It's probably about 10-15 miles northwest of downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Baltimore. First and 10 RPI at the 50. They're going left to right. Stevenson right to left in this second quarter, and RPI is going to get about 2 yards. Still trying to get that running game going.
Yeah, Stevenson made a commitment to expand athletics about 12 years ago and really expanded its facilities and its offerings, trying to build its outreach, build its reach of students and recruitment. And their football program has been incredibly successful for just getting off the ground under Coach Ed Hoddle, as we mentioned in the pregame. 6 straight appearances in the postseason.
Second down and 8 for RPI. And Marinopolis can't find anything downfield, and he is going to be sacked. He's taken, who was that? That was McIntyre. Mario McIntyre sacked him back at the 48 of RPI.
Yeah, and a little disturbing trend if you're RPI. That first drive where they got all the way to the goal and didn't score, it seemed like Marinopolis had lots of time on each play to develop it. Either that or they ran quick-hitting plays. Now in this possession, every time Marinopolis has gotten the snap, he has quickly come under pressure from the Mustangs. Not one single play has really worked as planned. It's all been ad-lib on this drive.
Third down and 12. Lombardi goes in motion to the right. 2 wideouts over there already. Marinopolis, this is going off to Munoz Watts behind the line of scrimmage to the 50, 45, got a block, and Munoz Watts gets a first down. He got to the 40. They're going to put him right on the 40, and that'll be a first down.
And that was a terrific call, given the fact that we just said Stevenson is bringing a lot more pressure. What they did is let the front line of Stevenson penetrate, and they set up the underneath screen to Munoz Watts, and he had 3 or 4 blockers in front of him at about the 45 or 50 and just took off with the ball.
First and 10 at the Mustang 40 for RPI. 13-10 to go first half. RPI nothing and Stevenson nothing. Two receivers to the right, one to the left, slot back to the left. Handoff goes to Munoz Watts. He finds the hole, and he kind of fell down on his own near the 35.
Well, I think Sean Sullivan, number 17, the linebacker, just grabbed him by the ankles. He dove and hooked that one right foot. Otherwise, Munoz Watts had a chance to go a long ways with that carry.
Second and 4 at the 34-yard line. And we've got a timeout. Timeout Stevenson, I think.
Yep.
Yes. So we were talking about Stevenson's success. The program started in 2011. That was their first season. They have had winning records every year since 2014. Yep. And that includes making the NCAA tournament in 2016. They lost to Wesley, a school that no longer exists, in the first round that year. That's a real fast move from new program, winning record, NCAA tournament. That's, you know, that you don't get it usually that fast.
Right, and they 9-2 in the last full season of football before the pandemic hit, or rather 8-3 overall. They've established themselves as probably the second best program steadily in that conference, the Middle Atlantic Conference. There's Delaware Valley, which has routinely made the NCAA playoffs from the conference, but Stevenson has been right up there with them. They even got some votes in the preseason poll, one of the polls, before really getting blown out in their opener 53-18 at Johns Hopkins.
In their defense, Johns Hopkins is a very good program.
Right.
RPI went down there in the NCAAs in 2018, and Johns Hopkins dominated RPI. Munoz Watts takes the carry on second down, and a huge struggle after he hit the line only gets him a yard.
Interesting that note here, we talked about in the pregame about RPI wanting to establish the run and making a commitment to that. Right now, the Engineers have 9 rushing attempts and 8 passes, which is sort of where they want it to be.
3rd down and 3 RPI at the 33-yard line. They're on the Stevenson side of the field. Marinopoulos wishes to throw, puts it up. Lombardi has it go off his hands. On defense there was Ethan Joseph, who may have gotten a hand in there.
He did, and that was a nice recovery by Joseph. Lombardi was running to the right sideline, and he had some separation. Ball hung up just a hair, and boy, that was enough of a split second for Joseph to close the gap, reach out with the hand, and get his fingertips on the ball to break it up. Otherwise, the Engineers would have had it inside the 10.
RPI with a 4th and 3 at the 33, and they are keeping the offense out there. Four wideouts. Marinopoulos in the shotgun. 4th down and 3. Wants to throw. I would have tried a bootleg, and that is incomplete. It was almost intercepted at the 28. Brennan Wright almost had that. Thinks he should have had that. Goes incomplete, and RPI turns it over on downs.
Yeah, nothing went right on that play. He was looking for Convoy, threw it behind him, and the Engineers had no chance to complete that ball at all. So it's been a struggle, an intense struggle, and entertaining drives, but still no points on the board for either team as Stevenson gets ready to take over at its own 33. They're moving right to left on your radio dial. If you're familiar with the setting here, that means towards the open end of the football stadium here on the RPI campus.
So the difference between last week and this week is that last week there were a lot of 3 and outs in the first half. Nobody got anywhere. This time there's drives, they're just not scoring. So it's different. On 1st down, Stevenson on the ground picks up about 5. Joppy, their primary running back, with the ball.
And he's off to a decent start, 8 carries for 38 yards. That is about, almost 5 yards a carry. And, if you're RPI's defensive coaches, that's not a stat you wanted to see. You wanted to keep the lid on the run and force the Mustangs into passing all the time.
2 men in the backfield with Sedgwick, 3 receivers. Joppy's going to take the handoff, and he stopped at the 39-ish this time. They're going to give him the 40, I think. No score, first quarter. This is the 6th possession for both teams, 3rd possession for Stevenson. They punted on their first possession and turned it over on downs on their second possession. That was the play where the quarterback lost his helmet. By rule, ball carrier loses helmet, play is dead. 3rd down and 3 at the 40. Sedgwick with time, throws, intercepted by the Engineers, taken away. Younginer has it along the far sidelines at the 35, and he is out around the 30.
Well, what made that play? We got a flag after the play's over. I don't know if there's going to be some celebration. It was right in front of the Engineers sideline. I think some of the Engineers players might have taken off onto the field before the play was over. That's what I'm guessing might have been the the infraction there because the flag came down from the official right in front of the RPI bench. But we'll see. But what made that play was a lot of defensive pressure on Sedgwick. He was forced to unload that a lot sooner than he wanted. He kind of got it off the wrong foot, and the ball had nothing on it. It was floating up in the air, and Cam Younger was right there to make the interception. Just a gift right to him.
Okay, so that's a sideline violation against RPI. There's no yards on that. That's the warning. You get one warning, and after that, there are yards allocated. The official needs to pick up the flag. There we go. So Stevenson intercepted.
First Stevenson turnover of the afternoon. Remember, there was an interception, or would-be interception, that was overturned because of a penalty. So now the Engineers starting out at the Mustang 29.
Need to put points on the board here.
Far side left is where the play will start.
First down, Marinopolis, play action. Looks end zone, throws into double coverage, and is lucky not to have that intercepted. He was looking for Walker Sutton, and it was thrown to the defenders.
Yeah, an example of deciding what you're going to do with the play before seeing how it develops, because Walker Sutton was double covered, and Jacob Batoff, one of the defensive backs, got his right hand on the ball about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Just couldn't quite pull it in.
No score, 10:05 to go here in the first half. 2nd and 10 RPI at the 29 of Stevenson. We've got to turn that interception into some points. And RPI is going to go on the ground this time, and Buckley weaves his way through and makes it down to the 24. RPI's offense, Denny Beckenhus, Rick Demboski, Thomas O'Lawson, Garrett Farmer, and Luke Koschel are the line up front. The tight end is Kenny Schrader. The wide receivers are Vinny McDonald, Sterling Walker Sutton, and Peter Lombardi. Running back, Delano Munoz Watts, although Buckley's in there right now, and George Marinopolis is the quarterback for RPI.
Big play, 3rd and 5. RPI needs to cash in on this big turnover.
You got to think they're going to go for it if they don't make it on 3rd down. Marinopolis had some room. Then now he's going to pass. That's complete, but short of a first down. They get the completion down near the 22, 23. They're going to mark him out at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, he was looking deep. He didn't have anyone. Buckley was just sort of the safety valve. And out on the left flat, Marinopolis dumping it off to him, and he got about, well, maybe 2 yards. So it looks 4th and 3 from the 23-yard line, 23-yard line, we'll call it.
4th and 4. Yes, okay. So RPI is going to go for it, 4th and 4. Marinopolis throws, and that should be a first down. It is a first down, caught by Walker Sutton at the 17, and RPI will keep the drive going.
Walker Sutton was set up wide right. He took off on a sprint, maybe went 4 steps and then just turned around for the ball. He had enough separation from Batoff that Marinopolis just had to deliver it to him. He was already deep enough. Once he made the catch, he already had enough yards for the first down. And maybe Batoff, respecting the speed there of Walker Sutton, he laid off, and so when Sutton hit the brakes and turned around, he had plenty of time and plenty of room to make the first down catch. No score,
8:05 to go here in the first half. RPI 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Handoff to Buckley. Buckley avoids one tackle, stays on his feet. He's to the 15, still on his feet, now gets hit down at the 15-yard line. Are they saying there was a fumble? No fumble. Buckley had it. Still has the ball. So he's down at the 15, a long way and a lot of running to get 2 yards.
Good effort for Buckley. And the Stevenson coaches who were in the box next to us here in the press were certainly screaming, ball, ball. They thought it was loose, but apparently not.
RPI with a 2nd and 8 at the 15. Buckley behind Marinopolis, 3 receivers right, 1 left. Now Buckley's going to go into the flat. Marinopolis throws. Walker Sutton has it at the 3, and he's out of bounds. Pushed out, but it'll be 1st and goal RPI.
Again, he was wide right, sprinted down to the 3, cut out to the right side, had enough separation to make the catch and get both feet down in bounds for a first and goal for the Engineers. Second time today they've been this close. Last time, if you recall, they fumbled at the 1, ball rolled into the end zone. Stevenson recovered, stopping what sure seemed to be an Engineer touchdown drive.
First and goal at the 3. Buckley with the handoff. He's going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose a yard or 2.
3 guys there to meet him. No room whatsoever. Josh Siegenthaler, linebacker 21, leading the way for the Mustangs.
So it's a loss of 1 for RPI on that play. Second and goal at the 4. Students have been filtering into the stadium here today.
They're on the near side right, so they've got 1 receiver far right, that's Lombardi, and they've got most of the other guys out to the left. They've got 1 back along with Marinopoulos.
McDonald, who was in the slot, I thought that's the way Marinopoulos was going to go. Instead, he keeps it on the ground, and that's a touchdown. Marinopoulos runs it in, and RPI leads 6-0.
Faked the handoff left, went off right tackle, and the Stevenson defensive backs didn't realize it was a keeper until it was too late. They met Marinopoulos at the goal line, but he's a big guy, and he was able to lean in and fall at the goal line and get the ball across for the first score of the afternoon.
Connor McDougall out to try the extra point. Moncrief, who's the punter, is also the holder for RPI. The snap, the spot, the kick is up, and it is good. We have 6:02 to go here. First half in Troy, RPI 7, Stevenson nothing.
Well, you know, there was a big turnover that started this drive, the interception and return by Youngener all the way down to, I believe it was a 38 or 28, 38?
29
of Stevenson, and they were, for a while they'd stalled, and it looks like the Engineers might turn over the ball again, but a couple of big plays, a couple of big passes. Walker Sutton with that reception on the right sideline to pick up the first down and keep the drive going at the 17. And then the 4-yard keeper by Marinopoulos to finish off the drive, the first scoring drive of the afternoon for either team.
McDougall out there to kick off for the first time today.
And the Engineers only have 1 touchdown, but you want to look at their drive chart here, Kurt. 7 plays, and there was a 4, but 10 and 9 plays. So each time they've had it, they've been able to hold on to it and move it. First time they've been able to get points here, but all in all, the Engineers offense has been moving pretty steadily against the Mustang defense.
Kickoff is taken at the 10 to the 15, 20, 25, and call it the 27-yard line. Little John on the return.
So the Mustangs will take over now, trailing for the first time, 7-0. They're going right to left, and they are on the far side, Hatch on the right side. Sedgwick, who is an all-conference quarterback for the Mustangs, not off to a great start. He's 4 out of 10 with 1 interception. Could have been a second one that was reversed because of penalty, but he's not been comfortable, and he's not had a lot of time to throw at all back in the pocket for the Mustangs.
Double tight end formation. Sedgwick throws, and that's incomplete off the hands of Little John around the 31. Is that the first time they've run a double tight end formation?
Yeah, and you know what? Yes, and again, pressure. At this time it was Magnus Womble coming in from the left end, and Sedgwick kind of hurried that throw, kind of led the receiver a bit too much. It hit off his hands, but it was a bit too far for him to make the catch.
Second down and 10 at the 27-yard line. Joppy on the carry, finds a big hole. He's got a first down, and Joppy is finally tackled at the 40-yard line. I think it was C.J. Lyons who ultimately got him.
They've had a decent running game, and it seems to me, Kurt, that where they've been most effective is those plays just right off of center. Anytime they try to get Joppy wide left or right, Engineers' defensive line has had pretty good pursuit. And their most effective plays have been just right up the middle, like that one.
1st and 10 at the 40, 7-0. RPI leads here in the first quarter. Joppy with another hold, then breaks a tackle, and he's out to the 49.
And again, right between the center and the guard, and that's about a 9-yard pickup.
Stevenson responding well after they turned it over on an interception on the previous drive. RPI turned that into 7.
Joppy now up to 11 carries for 53 yards, almost 5 a carry against the Engineers.
And they're going to swap out running backs right now, and that's not going to work. Not as effective as Joppy.
As Maurice Hammond, I believe, the 3rd string back out there, number 34.
Yep.
So 2nd and 1 becomes 3rd and 1.
Brendan Walker now comes in. Hammond was originally going to go off. He stays out there. What happened to Joppy?
And yeah, and Hammond's still out there without Joppy. So, and if Joppy was in there, I'd say, well, they're going to go to him to pick up this 1 yard. But now you got to wonder. They've also got 2 backs in the backfield with the quarterback.
So looking for 1 yard here. They're going to get it. They'll cross the 50-yard line, and they're down to about, I think that was Walker who ended up with the ball. He's down to about the 47-yard line, and that'll be a Stevenson first down.
At that time, they set up with 2 backs beside Sedgwick in the shotgun. Looking for a little misdirection. Are they going to go left to Hammond or right to Walker? They went on the right side to Walker, and he got enough for a key first down.
3:50 to go in the first half. RPI 7, Stevenson nothing. Stevenson 1st and 10 at their own 40, at RPI's 47. And now Walker's in the backfield moving around. Sedgwick throws, that's in the flat to the right. That's complete, breaking a couple of tackles and close to a first down. Smothers is out of bounds. I think he's short though. He didn't quite make, he got 9, he didn't get 10.
And you know, that's only his 2nd reception. He had 10 catches last week against Johns Hopkins. All in all, the Engineers have done a pretty good job at keeping Stevenson's passing attack under wraps. Sedgwick just 5 out of 12.
Sedgwick on 2nd down, passes into the flat on the left, and the fall forward by Smothers looks like he got him the first down to the 36. Yeah, it did.
Smothers coming in motion, or rather sprinting out to the left at the snap. That's one of those passes that was almost just a straight lateral kind of pass, but he had enough blockers in front of him, didn't need much, fell forward to the 36 for the first down.
1st and 10 for Stevenson at the 36. 2:45 to go here in the first half. 7-0 RPI leads. Joppy is back in there. He's going to run right, and he's going to get to the 33. So 2.5 to go in this half. Stevenson trying to put some points on the board. They are getting the ball to start out the second half. They won the toss and deferred their selection. And Sedgwick on the option pitches, and that was read very well by RPI. And Joppy's going to lose a couple of yards. You had Deptula in there for the Engineers to make that tackle.
Yep, also assisted by Womble. I mean, not much misdirection there. It was read pretty well by the Engineers. So passing situation now, 3rd down and 10. And Sedgwick's had a bit of a rough go at it. Just 6 out of 13 with 1 interception so far.
Four wide receiver formation, Joppy in the backfield. Cedric looks to throw, got a man on the slant pattern, and that's complete, but is it a first down? Little John caught it, and yeah, they're going to give it to him at the 26, and that's a first down.
Yeah, he cut in between 2 Engineers there. I believe it was Deptula as well as Connor Noyes. Kind of just sliced between them and enough to get the first down. Big pickup there for the Stevenson Mustangs. We're going to have a timeout here with 1:24 to go in the half. RPI 7, Stevenson nothing. It's been a pretty entertaining first half, even if we've only had 1 scoring play.
Well, it was an official timeout. Was somebody hurt?
There was an Engineer down momentarily, but I saw him get up. So not sure.
So, yeah, so the referee's telling the Stevenson players, you need to get to the sideline. This was an official timeout, not a team timeout. Not that they can't talk, but the timeout lasts as long as necessary. First and 10, Stevenson at the RPI 26. 1:24 to go in the first half. RPI leading 7-0. Cedric out of the shotgun. Joppy is the running back. Cedric throws, and that is complete. Little John has it down near the 10. This will be a first down at around the 11-yard line. They'll call him down at the 11. RPI swarms him under, but Stevenson is getting closer to the end zone.
Little John kind of ran a curl route and got sort of underneath the RPI zone, was in between three guys down there at about the 12 to make the catch.
Minute to go in the half. Handoff goes to Joppy. He crosses the 10. Joppy is to the 7. As time is, whoop, we got a flag afterwards, and this might be going against Stevenson. RPI was clapping. Clock stops with 50.6 seconds left in the half. Would have been a pickup of 4 and a 2nd and 6 at the 7. Yeah. Depending on how this penalty goes. Dave Herger is the referee for today's game. Oh, look, there's some clouds out there.
Yeah.
Personal foul against Stevenson.
Oh boy, that's going to be tough for the Mustangs. Gonna not only back them up from inside the 10, but I'm not sure how much range their kicker Brody Campbell has. He is 1 for 1 on the year with a 33-yarder. So you got to be thinking about that as well if you're Stevenson. You've only got 50 seconds. You do have a first down, but you've only got 50 seconds, and to either go for the end zone or just get it a little bit closer for your kicker.
2 timeouts.
Back in the first quarter, they had a 4th down situation. It would have been looking at about a 44-yard field goal and elected not to try it, ended up going for it. So maybe that tells you a little bit about the range of their kicker, Campbell. Right now, again, with 50 seconds left, there'll be more than one play. But they would be looking at about a 39-yarder for field goal if they don't move the ball any closer to the goal line.
Okay, so Stevenson just burned a timeout. They had to, because with this amount of time left, the clock stopped while they took a penalty while the clock was running. That would have been an automatic 10-second runoff if they had not taken a timeout. So Stevenson they're down to 1 timeout now, 2nd and 21 back at the 22-yard line.
And that's a factor that could also come into play if they try to set up for a field goal in the next few seconds, depending on what happens right here.
Cedric out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Joppy the running back on 2nd and 21. Cedric has time, throws. He finds Little John at the 10-yard line. He tries to avoid the engineers, gets hit back at the 12-13, and that's where they're actually going to mark him down.
38 seconds and counting. See how quickly they try to get off another snap. 2nd down, but that's not the factor. It's the clock running quickly on them. It's down to 28.
They're lined up. They're going to snap the ball. 25 seconds left on 3rd and 11. Cedric is looking short again, and that's going to be out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. Smothers received the ball, but they needed to get to the 1, so it's now a 4th down situation.
And we're looking to the sideline. Looks like they're sitting on the field goal team.
Yeah.
Again, Brody Campbell just 1 attempt last week, and it was good, and 33 yards out. So this is certainly within his range. Going to be looking at about a 25-yarder, 26-yarder. Looks like they're going to put the ball down at the 16, near side left.
I think that's Kevin Sheehan. Isn't that 18?
Yeah, you're right. No, I think it's 19. It's 19. Their numbers are hard to see.
Snap, spot, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 7-3 RPI lead with 17 seconds left. So who is 19?
That's 19. That's Campbell, their regular kicker. It's just they have white uniforms with silver numbers, which on a bright sunny day is not easy to spot from the broadcast booth. But that was Campbell. Got it through from 26 yards, although frankly didn't look like he had a lot more range on his kick than that. But it's up and good, and it's 7-3 RPI leading Stevenson with just 17 seconds to go in the first half.
Okay, so the 2 deep has him as 92.
Okay.
The regular roster, I believe, has him as 19.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2 deep has him as 92. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Brody Campbell, 5'9" junior out of South Riding, Virginia. Now 2 for 2 on the season, 1 for 1 today for the Mustangs. And again, they're on the board with a 26-yard field goal. We'll probably see a kickoff and maybe one play after this before the first half ends.
Reminder, you're listening to WRPI Troy with Engineer Football from the East Campus Stadium. Kurt Stutt, Yancey Roy on the call for you. 7-3 RPI leads Stevenson with 17 seconds to go in the first half. And Stevenson again will get the ball to start out half number 2.
Wouldn't be surprised to see sort of a squib kick here, especially how they kind of lined up the ball on the tee pretty perpendicular. It looks like they doesn't want to get any height on it at all. Oh, he did after all.
They're going to kick this one deep. And it's going to be taken by Walker Sutton. He fumbles it, picks it up again. He's got it at the 15, and he's going to make it to the 20 with a little over 10 seconds left in the first half. So RPI can, I think the RPI coaches just left. RPI is going to bunch around the quarterback, and they're not going to run a play. So that was the door slam I heard, I believe. That was the RPI coaches
in the
exiting
box,
the booth.
yeah.
Yes, exiting the booth. They're very much to our left. We can't see them. RPI takes a knee, and that will end the first half here in Troy. RPI with a 7-3 lead. Let me follow that up. So once the coaches, when I heard the doors moving around, and I heard the coaches leave, I'm thinking, yeah, they're not running a play here.
Right.
They're exiting already.
Quarterback taking a knee to end the first half. And that's where we are at the end of the first half. The score is RPI 7 and Stevenson 3. An entertaining first half, if low scoring so far. Both teams with sustaining long drives but coming up empty. Some key turnovers. RPI fumbled at the Stevenson 1, fumbled it into the end zone. Stevenson recovered to thwart that drive. Stevenson came up short on a long 20-play drive itself. RPI finally getting a score on the Marinopolis keeper, a 4-yard run late in the second quarter. And Stevenson on the last full drive of the half, a 26-yard field goal by Brody Campbell. 7-3 Engineers leading. It's been pretty even statistically, Kurt. Total yards, 139 for Stevenson, 116 from RPI. RPI relying more heavily on the pass, 98 of those 116 coming via the air. Stevenson a little bit more balanced. And RPI's done a good job of keeping Stevenson quarterback Ryan Sedgwick under pressure all the first half. So pretty even half. It could go either way when we come back from the halftime.
It's a close one, so we are going to take a break, run you down on what happened in the Liberty League last week, and then we'll be back for the second half here at the East Campus Stadium. The score after one half of play, it is RPI 7 and Stevenson 3, and you're listening to live coverage of Engineer Football on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
I know it's tough to hear me with this firefighter's air pack on, but it's the only way I can be in this smoldering pile of ashes that was my office. I hope you won't make the same mistake, since at least 1 in 4 businesses never reopen after a disaster. The fire's bad, but the water damage? I should have done our disaster plan, but I just didn't see this coming.
There'll always be a few fires to put out around the office unless it's not around anymore. Go to ready.gov and make your company's plan. Ready.gov. It's never too late to protect your business until it is. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
I like some cookies.
Pizza.
Popcorn. Chocolate donuts.
Left to their own devices, children wouldn't always eat right.
Potato chips.
Marshmallows.
That's why they have you.
Cotton candy.
And you have WIC. WIC provides nutrition information.
This rise is the family would play the alma mater. Thompson Academy, rise home. Serving the smiles every season.
Hi, Sophie. How we doing?
Why were you screaming at us?
Nobody's innocent on your team.
Get out of your worthless chair!
Yeah, please fucking third down and people can't stand up. I literally, this isn't a library. It's a football.
I know, you were just saying that. Right here. I actually didn't stand up when you were screaming. I was saying, why is Kevin so and I wasn't trying to give in to you. Sorry. He's been standing up the time.
Big sample has to be a lot for us to show the current and future generations of student athletes receive the opportunity to balance the rigors of academics with collegiate athletics. Learn more about how you can help our men's and women's athletic teams directly at giving.rpi.edu/let's-go-there.
Roster here has done a much better job in the second quarter of protecting them.
3rd down and 3. Joppy with another carry. He is, whoa, I was going to say stopped short. I think he still stopped short. The whistle blows. He didn't make the 50. He literally had to get onto the 50-yard line. He didn't make it. They're going to put him just beyond the 49.
Yeah, Austin Charles, the linebacker, among others, to meet him there. That was one of those situations, and you see it in a lot of pro games as well. The guy gets stopped, and all of a sudden there's a clog of jerseys from either side trying to push him forward or backward until the whistle blows it dead. It looks like they're going to go for it here. 4th and 1 at the 49.
Cedric is under center. 4th and 1 at the 49, as Nancy just said. Backs in the eye, and Cedric keeps it, and I don't know if he got it. Where is he? They're not going to mark him that he got it.
Yeah, look at the official.
They're coming in, and they're going to say no. I mean, it was just a mass of bodies, and I lost track of where he was. But the officials say no, he didn't get to the 50-yard line, and Stevenson turns the ball over on downs.
He tried to slide to the left of center, but the center, it got no launch, no penetration off the line whatsoever. As soon as Cedric leaned forward, he was met by a couple of engineer helmets, and he was just stopped dead. The line didn't move at all. And the Engineers, with a key defensive stop early in the 3rd quarter, get a chance to cash in here and take a big advantage of a curious decision by Stevenson on the first possession of the second half.
Ball's at the 49 of Stevenson, 1st and 10 RPI, 7-3. RPI leads, 13:06 to go in the 3rd quarter. Marinopoulos will Handoff, Engineers go on the ground to start out this second half, and Munoz Watts gets it to the 41 with a nice pickup of 8 yards. That Stevenson defense, I didn't give it to you in the first half. Don Jones, Jason Scott, Mario McIntyre are up front. The linebackers are Josh Siegenthaler, Brennan White, Sean Sullivan, and Ethan Joseph. Quarterbacks are Isaiah Sneed and Marvin Manasseh. And the safeties are Ryan Twitty and Garston Banks. On second down, RPI, another ground game, and Munoz Watts has a big hole to the 30, to the 20. Munoz Watts to the 15. Man comes in on an angle, cuts him down. That was Sneed who came in, cut him down inside the 15, but a big gain for Munoz Watts. And RPI, where are they going to finally put it? They'll put it at the 10-yard line. It'll be a first and goal, RPI.
Longest running play of the afternoon for the Engineers. And yes, give credit to Sneed. He was playing the right quarterback position. And if he doesn't come in from out of nowhere to make that tackle, Munoz Watts had an angle on some of the other defensive backs as he was headed towards the left pylon, or trying to get over to there.
Okay, they're going to back this up to the 14, so it's first and 10 RPI at the 14 of Stevenson. Marinopoulos looking into the corner, and that is out of bounds. McDonald caught it, but I'm sure he was out of bounds. Now the officials are going to talk about it.
It looked, I mean, it's the far side from us.
No,
yeah.
incomplete. It looked out of bounds to me.
They were, from us, it's the far side left towards that deep corner, towards the pylon, and it looked from here, again, we're not close to it. It's not the near sideline.
Yeah, I just saw the replay.
Far out, yeah.
I don't see how he could have been in bounds.
Yeah.
Looking at the replay, by the time the ball was near his hands, they were right over the white part, which signifies out of bounds. I don't see how he could possibly come in bounds. So it's incomplete on first down. Second and 10 RPI at the Stevenson 14.
Looking 3 wide right, only one guy to the left. That's McDonald.
The back will move over to the right. Marinopoulos is going to get sacked back at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, coming in, that was number 40, Mario McIntyre, the leading tackler already for Stevenson. Marinopoulos did not handle the snap cleanly. The ball dropped to the ground. He picked it up, and as soon as he tried to look for a play, there was McIntyre, and he had a sort of big old paw on the shoulder pad of Marinopoulos and kind of just wrangled him down from there.
Stevenson finishing up on substitutions. Nope. Stevenson's going to call a timeout.
Well, interesting situation here now. Third down at the 24. First down markers at the 4. So you think of two things. Maybe they go deep into the end zone, but maybe they're thinking to cut this in half. You know, maybe something slant across the middle and at least get it down to somewhere in the 10-yard line range, and sort of a more realistic decision of whether to go for it on fourth down or not. And also get yourself in better field goal position if it comes to that.
I'm thinking that they're not going end zone. If you go end zone and you miss, you've got 41-yarder. If you go short, you have options.
Right.
If you're, you might say, look, if we can get it down to maybe 4 yards, we'll go for it. And if it's longer than that, if we get closer, but it's longer than that, then you kick.
Or you have McDonald to sprint deep. You take a quick look at him, and if he's not there, then you go underneath to one of the other receivers.
RPI with a 3rd and 20 at the Stevenson 24-yard line. 4 wide receivers. Running back is Munoz Watts. Marinopoulos out of the shotgun. Looking. Nope, they're going to go end zone on this, and that's going to be overthrown. There was
a lot of contact.
A lot of contact. Sneed was on the coverage there. A lot of contact. There's not going to be a foul. I don't even think the ball was catchable in bounds.
And maybe so. It was one of those plays, and you see it so often in football, that cornerback has his arm kind of stiff-armed up against the receiver. The receiver's kind of got his arm locked in as well. They're both kind of pushing, and the ref's deciding just to let it go.
That was Lombardi as the intended receiver. Right, what's your other option? Call them both?
Right. Well, and now it's 4th down from the 24, and we're finding out they are not going to go for the 41-yard field goal. So they got to pick up 20 yards for a first down here.
Low snap. Marinopoulos picks it up. He's got a lot of blockers. He's got time, and he throws it to nobody.
over the head of McDonald down at about the 10 was who he's looking for, but he airmailed it over him as well.
So RPI took over on downs at the 49, but then moved down to the 14 and then kind of wasted this one.
Yep, you know, they went for the touchdown on the first play. Ball was thrown out of bounds, not catchable. And the sack put them in a bad position. And on third down, a little bit to our surprise, they went for the end zone again instead of maybe trying to get it closer for field goal range. And fourth down play was not even close.
11:07 to go here in the third quarter. RPI 7, Stevenson 3. Sedgwick looks to throw. That's not going to happen. He's going to get sacked back at the 18-yard line.
That's C.J. Shoemaker along with Womble back there. Shoemaker, the leading tackler in the first half for the Engineers, and he got back there quickly on Sedgwick again. And we mentioned in the start, Stevenson is a squad with a lot of senior and junior guys at the skill positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, but they have a pretty young offensive line, and at times they have given up a lot of pressure and even sacks this afternoon.
Second down and about 16. The pass, Joppy gets it complete, and that was at the line of scrimmage, and he gets 1 yard to the 19-yard line.
Deptula, the linebacker, among others, knocking down Joppy. They're going to mark it actually at the 19.
3rd and 15 for Stevenson. RPI looking to at least win the field position battle at this point. Stevenson hasn't punted since their first possession of the game.
RPI band trying to fire up the troops here. Key 3rd down and 15.
4 wide receiver set. Sedgwick throws, and that is incomplete. At the 35-yard line. Is that Booz, the intended receiver?
Yeah, Brandon Booz, and he was open, and he was there. He could have had the first down, but he was coming from the right, and he cut to the middle, cutting towards his left. And basically Sedgwick threw it behind him. He had to stop and swing his body back and try to make the catch a little bit behind him, and couldn't hold on to it. But if the ball had been delivered on time, that could have and should have been a Mustang first down.
Instead, they are going to punt. Sheehan is back to kick. Boots it. This is a short kick. RPI needs to run away from this. Nope, they're going to pick it up at the 42. And Spellman's going to run out of bounds right around there. It's going to be out of bounds. He'll pick up a yard on that run back.
Yeah, it hit about at the 50, and it started bouncing, and it took 2 hops right into Spellman's arms. So the Engineers will have pretty good position to start this drive. Last time out, they started on the Stevenson side of the field at the 49, got all the way down inside the 20, but then went backwards and failed on a 4th down attempt.
7-3 RPI leads, 9:38 to go third quarter. They are now at their own 43. Two receivers left. On the ground, Munoz Watts is stopped at the 45.
Munoz Watts now 8 carries for 58 yards. As long was that 27-yarder on the last drive.
RPI going against the wind at the moment.
Yeah, it is picking up. It was completely dead the first half, but now pretty steady breeze coming from the south to the north.
2nd down and 8. Marinopoulos overthrows his intended receiver, Conboy. We haven't really caught 2 touchdowns last week. We haven't mentioned Conboy much today. That was an overthrow.
Yeah, and the reason for it was a lot of pressure from Mario McIntyre, who's been the most active linebacker on the Mustang squad. He was coming in from the right end position, forced Marinopoulos to hurry the throw, and he just sailed it right over Conboy's head. 3rd and long now for the Engineers.
Munoz Watts goes off. There'll be a 5 wideout formation for Marinopoulos. 3 left, 1 right, and a man in the slot. That is Allison is in the slot to the right. Marinopoulos with some time, running out of time, sacked back at the 39-yard line.
Boy, they brought a lot of pressure, and there was 3 guys there. McIntyre was there for the Mustangs, as well as Zadalava, Tom Zadalava, another linebacker, number 32. A bad time for a sack for the Engineers. They end up going backwards on this drive, and now they're going to have to punt from their own 39. Chance for Stevenson to switch the momentum back to its side.
Smothers is back to return this punt for the Mustangs. Is he the only one out there with yellow shoes?
He is.
Moncrief, high kick, but not a long kick. It's going to bounce. The Mustangs will stay away from this, and RPI will down it around the 34.
A lot of pressure coming in on Moncrief, and he did not get a good boot off. He kind of got underneath it, kind of skied it. And so the Mustangs now will take over at their 34. Game of back and forth here in the third quarter. Again, the whole game's been very entertaining, if not a lot of high scoring. The Mustangs gambled early here on their first drive, 4th down at their own 49, going for it and failing. The Engineers taking over, getting down to the 14, but then failing on their own 4th down attempt.
First down, ground game. Joppy stopped after a gain of 1. Forward progress, maybe 1. Yeah, they'll give him out to the 35, start at the 34. Both offenses at this point kind of stalling.
Yeah. Sedgwick, the quarterback, is 11 for 19 with 1 interception, and you look at that, that's 58%, close to 60%, which sounds better than it's looked.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't feel like that. Joppy on second down finds a hole to the 40, and Joppy's to the 40, almost to the 42. Makes it a 3rd down and short. 3rd down and about 2 here for Stevenson.
I mean, his longest completion has just been for 15 yards, and half of that was on a run by Darian Littleshot. And, you know, RPI has done a really good job of putting pressure on Sedgwick, who was an all-conference quarterback, and he really hasn't gotten into much of a rhythm of the passing game this afternoon. Big play here, 3rd down and let's call it a long 2.
3rd and 2 at the 42-yard line. Fake to Joppy, throw, that is complete to the 45 to the 50, and that will be a first down to Tyler Blake.
Yeah, one of the first times all afternoon that they have thrown to one of their tight ends. I'm pretty sure that is the first time. And maybe that's what misdirection of that is what helped. There was a fake handoff to Joppy, which you know, sent a lot of the RPI defenders in the wrong direction. And Blake just peeled off to the left flat and was wide open and able to get the first down. First catch of the afternoon for the tight end.
It'll be on the 49 for a 1st and 10. 7-3, RPI leads. Joppy straight up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, makes it to the RPI 35. That's another first down.
And again, this is not the first time that we've seen this afternoon that some of the most effective running plays for Stevenson University is going just straight up the middle, in between the 2 guards. At times when they've tried to go wide, they haven't gotten much, but Joppy's been very effective on that play right up the gut.
6 to go here, 3rd quarter, 7-3, RPI leads. Another handoff to Joppy. He goes to the left this time, and he'll pick up another 5. If he can just keep picking up 5+, keep doing it.
Austin Charles, a linebacker, coming in to make the tackle, but he didn't make the hit until Joppy was a good 4 or 5 yards down the field.
I mean, isn't that the rule in football? If the play keeps working, keeps running it?
It's been one of their most effective ones so far.
2nd and 5 at the 35 at the 30 for RPI for Stevenson. This time, Joppy kind of gets tripped up in the backfield. Womble got a hand on him to slow him down.
Yeah, Womble got great penetration, broke through the line, and got an arm on Joppy about 2 yards deep. Joppy able to at least make it work for a little bit of a gain there.
3rd down and 6. They lost a yard on that play. 3rd and 6 for Stevenson. We're under 5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Out of the shotgun. Sedgwick looking downfield, finds a man. That is complete. We got a flag in the backfield, complete Little John, which would be a first down at the 24 if that stands. No. Holding against Stevenson. This comes back.
Yep. I believe it might be on 74. So now, instead of a first down, Stevenson pushed backwards, and now he's going to have a long situation here. 3rd and long, it's going to be, what, 16?
Yes. They are back to the 41. 3rd and 16 for the Mustangs.
Which calls for a long pass, which has not been their strong suit this afternoon. Some of the quick slants underneath the zone has been their most effective plays.
2 receivers each side. Plenty of time here for Sedgwick. That's a completion and not a first down. Out at the 32-yard line. Trying to figure out, was that Moore? Yeah, I think it was Amir Moore.
Amir Moore.
On the
yeah,
catch.
And the thing is, he ran out to that wide right side. He got behind the quarterback and in front of the safety. No one was out there for a second, and he was wide open to make the catch right around the 30. Got it down to the 27 before the Engineers could stop him.
So they had to get to the 25. They only made it to the 27. It's 4th and 2. 2 backs. Sedgwick under center. 1 wide out. And they'll pitch to the deep back, and he's caught short of the first down. Didn't make it. Hammond was in as the tailback. Didn't make the first down, and it's turned over on downs at the 27-yard line.
Deptula, the linebacker, got the first hit on Hammond. He didn't bring him down, but he slowed him down. Other Engineers were then able to meet him and stop him at about the 27, 28-yard line. 27 is looking like where they mark it. A curious play in that, A, they went to Hammond and not Joppy on the running play, and B, they went wide. They went wide with a toss to the wide side right instead of going up the middle. They didn't use their most effective running back, and they didn't use their most effective play.
First and 10, RPI. They're going to call this the 28. Engineers leading 7-3 here in the 3rd quarter. First down play gets nothing. So here's my take on those plays when you got the short yardage. You're pitching back a couple of yards. So your running back now has to move those yards back, and that gives the defense time to react to it. I would rather have, if you're under center, have my running backs coming forward and doing something at that point to get the forward momentum moving.
Absolutely, and not only that, but it's also like the wide plays. RPI has kept those bottled up all afternoon. It might be one thing if that wide sweep had been working all day for Stevenson, but it hasn't, and yet that's the play they went to.
No gain on first down for RPI. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 28-yard line. And Buckley is in there at running back, and he's going to lose a couple more yards. He's going to be all the way back to the 24. So RPI is going backwards.
Yeah, it's both offenses kind of falling into a struggle here now midway through the 3rd quarter. Basically, since that 27-yard run by Munoz-Watts, which got it down to the 14 early in the 3rd quarter, the Engineers' offense has just gone backwards most of the time.
On 3rd down, this is going to be a handoff to McDonald cutting through, Lombardi cutting through the backfield, and he's going to make it out to the 31. That was a 3rd and 14 play, which sets up a 4th and long enough that the punt team is going to be coming out.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they've run that play for Lombardi since maybe the first snap of the game. And sweeping to the wide right and basically just trying to get some of the yardage back so you're not punting from so deep in your own territory.
Fourth down, RPI sends out Moncrief to punt. Boots it. Smothers has got to retreat. He's back to the 25 and takes it. Runs along the 25 to the 30, and that's it.
Boy, best punt of the afternoon by Montre, 44 yards. Stevenson that time elected not to bring pressure on him, unlike the last couple of attempts. And he had plenty of time to get that one off, and he sent it sailing all the way back to the 25, and good coverage by the Engineers punt team, keeping it to just a 5-yard return. So here we are, Stevenson taking over, a minute 43 to go in the third, and the ball game still at 7-3, Engineers on top. Wind has died down again, Kurt. Back to flags, back to hanging still on the pole on the right side.
4 wideout formation. Sedgwick lets it go, and that's incomplete. Looking for a man along the sideline, and that was thrown short.
Well, one of the stories of the afternoon for the Engineers defense has been pressure on the quarterback. That time that was Magnus Womble coming in there, along with 97 Josh Cohen. But Sedgwick has been under pressure most of the afternoon. He's 13 out of 22, but really it hasn't played that well.
Jaffe, on second down is going to get about 4.5. He makes it close to the 35. Let's call it 4. Let's say he was stopped at the 34-yard line.
Third down and 6. Big play here. Got two receivers on either side.
Jaffe in the backfield. Sedgwick out of the shotgun. Scanning the field. Puts it up. That's caught. That's complete. That should be a first down on the forward progress. It is. And they got it to Booz at the 41-yard line. So that'll be a first down for Stevenson.
Brandon Booz was the inside receiver on the left side running along the hash mark. He ran out to about the 44 and just turned around, a quick hook to the sideline. Had plenty enough room to make the catch, just had to be delivered by Sedgwick, and he put this one right on the money. And a key first down for Stevenson now at the 41.
35 seconds left in the third quarter. RPI 7, Stevenson 3. First and 10 for the Mustangs at the 41. Sedgwick has to roll out of the pocket. He's moving to his left, and now he's going to run out of bounds onto the RPI side of the field at the 45.
Again, good pressure for the Engineers. Among those, it was C.J. Shoemaker and Joe Deptula and Josh Cohen among those really forcing the play there. Sedgwick that time able to make something out of it.
There's an injured Mustang, so there will be a timeout on the field. 24.3 seconds left, third quarter, RPI 7, Stevenson 3.
It's one of their offensive linemen. I didn't catch what happened to him. He is on his back at about the 29.
Out of town, Rochester now has a 21-13 lead on Alfred State late in the third. Union 41, Worcester State 6 in the third, and the odd score in the second, Ithaca 10, Brockport 2.
Yeah. It's a couple of New York State powerhouses when it comes to Division III football. Brockport, one of the perennial powers. They're ranked in the top 25 right now, and I can't put my hands on the poll, but they are there.
I don't think Brockport is still a little unhappy about RPI beating them in 2018 in the NCAAs.
Yeah. And you mentioned another school, Worcester.
Worcester State.
Worcester State, that's right. You're right. Worcester State, not Worcester Polytechnic, where the Engineers will be next weekend.
Yeah, the number police have to be called in for the Stevenson light numbers on their uniforms.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody asked the broadcasters advice on what color to use for the numbers. They've got an all-white set with black helmets, but all-white pants and jerseys, but silver numbers. So sometimes it's a little hard to pick up the player's number on the field.
Second down and 6 for Stevenson at the 45-yard line. And this is a run. Was that even Sedgwick back there? No, that was not Sedgwick. That was Rutkowski.
He's the backup quarterback.
Yeah. It didn't look like Sedgwick when he was lined up. So Rutkowski came in and took the snap, and he ran with it and made it out to the 47.
stoppage again. I think
that is
Stevens.
the
Oh,
end
the
of the third quarter.
Right.
3 quarters are in the books here in Troy. RPI 7, Stevenson 3.
Well, it's been low scoring, but it's been very interesting back and forth. Engineers and the Mustangs able to drive it at times, but then sometimes self-destructing, whether it's a turnover. If you missed the start of the game, the Engineers had the ball down at the Stevenson 1, fumbled into the end zone to stop one drive. But then later they got an interception, which was key in setting up their own touchdown. George Marinopoulos with a 4-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Stevenson on the last full drive of the half, for all practical purposes, the last drive, got down deep in RPI territory, but had to settle for a field goal to make it 7-3. Here in the third quarter, Kurt, it's been like instances of offenses clicking for like a play or two and then just running out of steam. And the Engineers had a golden opportunity on their first possession of the half, starting at the Stevenson 49 after taking over in downs. They got it downfield, a couple of first downs, but then they self-destructed and went backwards. So some missed opportunities and some defense, really good defensive play by both teams.
Start of the fourth quarter, 7-3, RPI leads. 3rd and 4 for Stevenson at their own 47. Sedgwick throws. He's got a man wide open at the 50-yard line. Can he turn it upfield to get to the 49? And he does. And Smothers is out of bounds on RPI side of the field, and he's out at the 46. There's no 51. I've been watching CFL football, and they have a 51-yard line. They do not have one here in the United States.
He was running right along the 50 towards the near sideline. He put on the brakes and sidestepped one of the Engineer defenders and was able to pick up 4 more across the Engineer side of the field for the first down.
Toronto won last night against Hamilton.
Go Argonauts.
Yes. Getting revenge for their Labor Day loss. 1st and 10 for Stevenson at the RPI 46-yard line. They'll fake the handoff. Sedgwick throws sideline, and if that's caught in bounds, no, they're going to say out of bounds. They're going to say he didn't bring it down. Smothers got the ball, but he didn't get a foot down, and no complaint from him. So it's incomplete on first down.
And not the original intended target. Everyone downfield was covered. Smothers was sort of the safety valve out in the left flat. And again, the story, Sedgwick not having a lot of time to set up in the pocket as the Engineers front 3 and linebackers continue to put steady pressure on the Mustangs quarterback.
2nd and 10 for Stevenson at the 47. Trailing by 4. And Joppy is going to get the carry, and this time is stopped. Maybe, no, they're going to stop. They're going to say line of scrimmage. You got nothing. And it'll be 3rd and 10 for Stevenson. All the scoring today has been in the second quarter. RPI with a touchdown. Stevenson came back with a field goal later. And that's been it. 7-3 is your score. Sedgwick looking downfield, going to roll out to his left. Doesn't see anybody. Now puts it up and intercepted by the Engineers. Taken away along the far sideline. And RPI's got another turnover. Who do we have? That is
35.
Brockdorf. Brockdorf on the INT for RPI. An injured Stevenson player back in the same area.
A terrific play there by the Engineers. The defensive line put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, Sedgwick, who had to roll to his left. And when he looked, there was just nobody there. He just kind of, just put it up, decided to go for it. He threw it into traffic. And Brockhoff right there for the interception. 2nd interception of the afternoon for the Engineers.
We have 13:36 left to go in today's game. RPI's offense headed back out on the field after the interception. 7-3, RPI is leading Stevenson. First and 10, RPI to 26. Engineers have had trouble getting the offense going here in the second half, and this is continuing the theme as Marinopoulos is sacked back at the 21.
Yeah, 4 guys around him, a lot of white shirts in the backfield. Play never developed at all.
So I think, did Marinopoulos lose his helmet?
That might have been the call.
Because he's off the field, and the official just announced something. Marinopoulos, he's number 11. Marinopoulos had to go off the field. I think he lost his helmet, which means you have to exit for a play, and that brings Peter Kuski.
Yes.
Is the backup quarterback. He is out there now for RPI. Munoz watches the running back. I'm expecting this to be on the ground. It's 2nd and 14 after the sack. And Peter Kuski is going to keep the ball, and he's going to run left, and he gets tripped up after he picked up maybe a yard out to the 23, and now Marinopoulos will come back onto the field.
Tom Zadalava, one of the more active linebackers on this Mustang squad, getting over there, sprinting to the left sideline to cut off Peter Kuski, keeping him to a short gain of just 1. So long situation here for the Engineers now. 3rd and 13 from their own 23. If they don't pick up anything, they're going to be punting from deep in their own territory as we get getting close to the 12-minute mark to go here in the 4th quarter.
Just a reminder, this is WRPI Troy with Engineer Football from the East Campus Stadium. Kurt Stutt, Yancey Roy on the call for you. 3rd down play. Marinopoulos steps up in the pocket, into pressure, and he is sacked back at the 18-yard line.
And that's Mario McIntyre. How many times have we mentioned his name today? McIntyre, their leading tackler, 7 tackles on the afternoon, and I believe that's his, well, let's see, is it second sack? No, that should be his 3rd sack of the afternoon for McIntyre. He's been all over the place for Stevenson.
Moncrief out to punt. Smothers is back at his own 45. Had trouble with the snap, picks it up. He's going to have to run with it. Moncrief breaks 1 tackle, and he's going to get stopped at the 19. And that's a bad play for RPI. That goes down as they turn the ball over on downs, but it's effectively a turnover as Stevenson now has it at the RPI 19-yard line.
Yeah, and I think he had more time than he thought at the time. He dropped it, picked it up. There was actually no one near him for a couple of seconds if he'd tried to hurry it to get it off, but I suppose at that point you're just in scramble mode and just running for your life. And he didn't get very far, a net of -1 yard on the play. And so now, maybe the biggest play so far in this game, because Stevenson's going to take over at the Engineers 19 with 11:33 to go in the 4th quarter. It's still RPI 7, Stevenson 3.
Special teams has put RPI's defense in a tough spot here. They fake the Joppy pass. That's complete inside the 10, and it'll be 1st and goal at the 5. And that was Tyler Blake on the reception. Quick pass to Blake. 1st and goal at the 5 for Stevenson.
Only the 2nd time they've thrown to Blake, the tight end, but both times he's made key catches. One time picking up a 1st down in the 3rd quarter, and right there coming off the slot and getting the ball inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal at the 5.
7-3, RPI leads, 11:05 to go, 4th quarter. And Joppy's going to take the carry. He's going to get hit, falls forward. That was a good move, gets down to the 1.
Yeah, he was initially met there by number 23, Jimmy Lieblow, but was able to bounce off of that and keep going inside the 5 and all the way, well, they're going to say the 1, yeah.
He's down to the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1. Great opportunity right now for Stevenson to take the lead. Cedric out of the shotgun, gives to Joppy. Joppy is stopped short. It'll be a 3rd down. That was McGrath on the tackle for RPI to prevent a touchdown.
Yeah, terrific surge by the front line of the Engineers. Did not allow Joppy to get anywhere. And now here we are, 3rd down and goal from the 1. How good is their short yardage offense?
I got to think at this stage of the game, this is 2 chances.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, you're down by 4.
Yeah, this is 2 chances
If
here.
you were down by 3, maybe not. But
you got a guy wide each side, but you've got Joppy back there. I'd say give him the ball again. And Joppy takes it, and he is – did he break the plane?
Yes.
Yes,
he did.
Joppy is in for the touchdown. Just broke the plane.
Yeah, and that was a terrific effort by Austin Charles, the linebacker, who met him just before the goal line. And I thought he was going to have enough momentum to hold up Joppy inches shy, but Joppy was able to sort of turn his right shoulder and just lean in and according to the official right there on the sideline, says he broke the plane, and it's a first touchdown of the game and the first lead of the game for Stevenson University.
Campbell to try the extra point. Ledford on the hold. Snap, spot, the kick is up, the kick is good. We've got 9:53 to go here in the fourth quarter. Stevenson leads for the first time today. They're up 10-7.
Taking advantage of turnovers. Stories so far and in this ball game, and right now there's 2 big points that stand out that why RPI is trailing. Back in the first quarter, they had the ball first and goal at the Stevenson 1. They fumbled the ball into the end zone. Stevenson recovered for a touchback. And now here in the fourth quarter, a fumbled snap on a punt led to punter Zach Moncrief just trying to scramble for the first down but getting nowhere. Stevenson takes over on the RPI 19. There was that quick slot pass to Blake, the tight end, which got it all the way down to the 5. And from there, it was just punch, with the running plays until they got it in. Joppy, the most effective runner all afternoon for either team, just kind of bullying his way in. Boy, that was a tough play. Austin Charles, the linebacker, met him about I don't know, it looked like maybe 6 inches outside of the goal line and had him stop for half a second, but Joppy leaned in and got the ball across the plane.
RPI trailing. Nope, they trailed last week. I was going to say for the first time. No, they trailed last week. They were down 20-7.
Trailing for the first time today.
Yes.
Now 10-7, and the context also is an RPI offense that has just not done much of anything here in the second half. Can they turn it on now that they're behind?
Booted away. Munoz Watts takes it at the 4. 5, 10, 15, 20. Good coverage there by Stevenson. Once he got hit, he went down, and he stopped at the 21, and it looks like he's hurt.
Corey Jones-Pence, a defensive back playing on special teams, made a tough hit right at about the 20, and all the momentum is on the far sideline. The all-white uniforms of the Stevenson Mustangs really fired up now, having the lead for the first time all afternoon and just 9:48 to play.
Munoz Watts injured on that return. Clean hit. Looks like its lower body. It wasn't a dirty play or anything by Stevenson, but he is down on the field right now, and we have an official timeout here at the East Campus Stadium with RPI trailing 10-7. Out of town, it's Union 54, Worcester State 6 late in the third. And Rochester in the fourth is leading Alfred State 21-19. St. Lawrence in the second has a 14-7 lead over Norwich. And still in the second, Ithaca 10, Brockport 2. And we don't have anything from Morrisville State playing at Hobart. And Buffalo State is off this week. That's the one Liberty League team not playing.
Let's take a look at the stats. So we're now almost halfway through the fourth quarter. Engineers have just 98 yards passing this afternoon, Kurt, and just 35 net yards rushing. It's been a tough slog. Marinopolis, 9 for 18. That's not the usual type of number you would see for him this deep in the game. On the ground, not much at all, 35 yards, total net rushing. Just haven't really gotten it under track. They're rushing for just 1.3 yards per carry. And now they're really under the gun because now they trail for the first time today, and they're going to have to change everything they've been doing in terms of success on offense.
Munoz Watts walked off the field under his own power. Buckley is in there at the running back, and, well, there's no change right now as Buckley is stopped for a loss.
Yeah, Jason Scott, number 3, down there along with Brennan Wright, number 51. They met him in the backfield and nowhere to go for Buckley. Again, all the momentum. You look at the body language here, the Mustang players, all white with the black helmets, all fired up on the sideline. Their coach is very animated. They feel like they're in control. Over here on the RPI side, just kind of dead silence on the RPI sideline.
Second down and 12 RPI. This is the 5 wideout formation. They're abandoning the run for the moment. Marinopolis throws. That is complete, but only about 2 yards to Conboy.
Yeah, Brennan Wright, the linebacker right there. Conboy was out on the right side, just ran about 3 yards and hooked back in. And it's a fine enough play, but, when you got Second and, what was it, 12 or 13. Now there is a situation of 3rd down and 10 and needing to complete a pass of, some distance, at least by the measurements of the game we've seen this afternoon.
RPI got down to the 14-yard line on the first possession of the 3rd quarter. Then they got backed up, ended up with no points. And since then, the offense has just stalled. The receivers bunched together to the left. Marinopoulos in a pile, and he's going down back at the 11-yard line.
3 Mustangs back there. Fitzgerald as well. 99 to Sean Fitzgerald, a defensive lineman. There was 3 guys back there. I think maybe they'll give the sack to Fitzgerald, but they were all there. And big loss for the Engineers going backwards. Now on their own 12 and having to punt. 7:57. They're going to have to get a good punt here. Remember, the last punt was fumbled snap, which led to the Stevenson touchdown. So they need a good punt and a defensive stand to have a shot.
Snap, ball's away. Good kick. Smothers has to retreat to his own 38, turns it around at the 35, and he falls down. He tripped on his own feet, essentially. Falls down to the 35-yard line. That's about as good as you're going to get at that point for RPI.
And a quick aside, not the first time that a player from either side has been trying to run laterally, make a cut, and fallen on the turf here this afternoon in Troy. So now 7:37 to play here in the 4th quarter. Stevenson 10, RPI 7. And the Engineers defense, which has been strong all afternoon, really needs to come up with a stop here. They've really shut down the Mustangs all day with, look, the exception of that last drive, which
it was a short field.
It was 19 yards. They took over the 19 and punched it in. Otherwise, the Engineers defense has been top notch today.
First down. Joppy on the carry, finds some room, finds a lot more room than he probably should have at that point, and he's out to the 39.
Again, running inside for Joppy. That's been one of their most effective plays. And when they try to get out wide, the Engineers just have too much speed on defense and keep them contained. They're best running Joppy right up the middle. And with the lead and 7 minutes to go, I expect to see a lot of Mr. Joppy right now.
I remember on this field many years ago, Rochester burning off over 8 minutes of game time on the final drive and not scoring and winning the game against RPI. That's the kind of success Stevenson is looking for right now. Joppy on 2nd down, breaks through a couple of tackles. He's got a 1st down and finally thrown down at the 50. But right now, RPI needs solid tackling.
Yeah, he was hit behind the line of scrimmage there by Cole McGrath at about the 40. Then he broke another tackle at the 46 and got all the way out to the 49. That's and this number might surprise you. I told you that Kevin Joppy now has 121 yards rushing this afternoon, 4.2 per carry. Let's go back to the pregame. One of the key things that RPI coach Ralph Isernia told you, Kurt, was they had to control the running game of Stevenson and force him into passing situations, but that's just not what happened through a good chunk of especially the second half here.
Another injured RPI player, so there's an official timeout on the field. 6:31 to go here in the 4th quarter. Stevenson 10, RPI 7. Beginning some cloud cover now, so the sun is not always shining on the field. That's really the only change in weather. The wind has kind of died down again.
And again, Joppy kind of taking over with runs in the middle. He's got now 29 carries for 121 yards. 1 touchdown. He's got 4.2 yards per carry. You know, the Mustangs' passing game has not hurt the Engineers all that much. Sedgwick is 16 out of 27, but that sounds a lot better than it's been. He's only got 134 yards, and he's thrown 2 interceptions, and nothing's been very long. His 2 longest passes, 15 and 14 yards. Honestly, there's about half of those were runs. They have not thrown the ball deep at all. But, boy, they've been running effectively right up the middle.
1st and 10 at their own 49 for Stevenson. They're up 10-7. This running play is going to be a loss.
Shoemaker was the first hit there for the Engineers, and then other guys kind of just piling in.
Joppy, loss of 2 on that play.
Nate Sicard, number 65, among the folks that came in to help Shoemaker and drop Joppy for a loss this time.
That makes it a 2nd and 12 for Stevenson as they are running that clock down as much as possible.
Yeah, the Engineers have 3 timeouts left, but they really need a stop.
Down to 5:40 to play in the fourth quarter. Looks like a pass this time. That is complete into RPI territory. Taken.
It's Tyler Blake, the tight end.
Yes. Blake gets about 2 yards on that play. And there's another injured RPI player on the other side. That's Joe Deptula, who's hurt on the far sideline.
Yeah, and he's been the Engineers' leading tackler all afternoon. He's got 12 tackles, all assists, but 12 total tackles for the Engineers. So if he's out, that's a tough loss for RPI. You know, Blake, the tight end, we didn't call his name at all in the first half. And now he's made 3 catches here in the second half. A couple of them were big plays. He grabbed one for a first down in the third quarter. And then it was his catch coming off as a slot receiver on the inside that got the ball all the way down to the RPI 5, which set up the one and only Stevenson touchdown, the touchdown that has put them ahead here in the fourth quarter. So here's where it sits, 3rd and 8 for Stevenson at the RPI 49. They're going left to right towards the arena side of the football field, if you're familiar with the setting. On the far side, left hash mark. Big down here. If they pick up the first down, they'll be inside the 40, and it'll be under 5 minutes. And boy, you're going to look at running the clock close to down. RPI, on the other hand, can come up with a stop here, get the ball back. They'll probably have a long field to go, but at least they'll have 5 minutes to go if they can make the stop.
3rd and 8. 4 wide receivers for Cedric. Out of the shotgun. Wants to throw. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. He was looking for Booz around the 46. Missed him, missed all the defenders.
Magnus Womble among the Engineers that brought pressure there. And he just sailed that throw. I thought for a second RPI might have had a chance for an interception, but the defenders were kind of concentrating on defending the receiver and not looking up for the ball that was kind of floating out there.
That sends out the punt team. Only the 3rd punt today for Stevenson. Sheehan, low snap, picks it up, gets rid of it. End over end kick that's going to bounce at the 26. It's now at the 24, and it's going to be down at the 24-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, 2 big plays on punts here in the fourth quarter, right? Zach Montree fumbled a punt snap for the Engineers, which set up the Stevenson touchdown. And then right there, I mean, that ball took like 3 hops to the punter, the Stevenson punter, but RPI did not have enough pressure back there, and the kicker Sheehan was able to get it off. It wasn't a great punt, got a good roll, but the key was that he got it off altogether after the snap bounced about 3 times before it got to him.
4:52 to go in this game. Stevenson 10, RPI 7. RPI 1st and 10 at their own 24. I don't think RPI can count on getting the ball back again if they don't move this one forward. On running on first down, they'll get it out to the 30-yard line. Who do we have out there now? Munoz Watts.
Yeah, I think that's a correct read, Kurt. They've got to look at this as maybe their last possession of the entire game. It's 4:30 and counting. They do have 3 timeouts left, but they're not going to be able to count on getting the ball back. This is probably the drive for all or nothing right here.
Munoz Watts in the backfield, 3 receivers left, 1 right. 2nd and 4 at the 30-yard line. Fake the handoff to Munoz Watts, low throw to Lombardi at the 40, and it goes incomplete.
And that was caused by a linebacker whose name we've called all afternoon, Mario McIntyre. He was coming off the left side of the RPI line, more or less untouched. Marinopoulos looked up, and he's got number 40 just steaming full ahead right at his face, and he just had to unload the ball, and so it was underthrown.
3rd down and 4. We're at 4:11 right now. You have to think that these are 4-down situations. RPI just needs a field goal. They're only down by 3. So they have to get this close enough, if necessary, if they can't put it in the end zone, to kick. But they have to get it there. They are well far away right now. 3rd down. Marinopoulos, low throw, looking around the 40-yard line for Conboy. And that's low. So now RPI with a 4th and 4 at the 30. They're gonna punt.
That is interesting.
Well,
4:07 to go. I know they're deep in their own territory at their own 30.
Well, they're going to have to get a stop, and those 3 timeouts are probably going to go off the board pretty quickly once Stevenson gets the ball.
Right. Again, Marinopolis almost no time to pass the ball. He had 3 guys in on him. You know, almost as soon as it was snapped.
Moncrief kicks it away. Hits at the 35, along the sidelines, goes out of bounds, so no return for Stevenson.
Nice bounce for the Engineers. I think it touched ground at about the 36, 37.
It's out at the 24.
And it ended up rolling out of bounds at the 24. So one break there. They've got Stevenson back at the 24 with exactly 4 minutes to go. They have 3 timeouts. As you mentioned, Kurt, I got to imagine what we're going to see here is Stevenson just giving the ball to Joppy over and over, keeping the ball on the ground, and the Engineers trying to burn timeouts after every play.
I think, yeah, if you're Stevenson, you want those timeouts off the board.
And if RPI burns timeouts and Stevenson's able to pick up a first down, well, then the Engineers are going to be in deep, deep trouble.
Well, they're already kind of in trouble.
They're deep trouble. I'm saying they're deep, deep trouble.
Joppy takes the rush on first down, and RPI calls a timeout with 3:53 to go. Joppy makes it out to the 20, near the 26. So that's a pickup of 2 for Stevenson.
Yeah, Joppy's been the guy all afternoon for the Mustangs. 31 carries, 121 yards. A real workhorse, especially at a time when the Mustangs' passing game has been so-so. But his running and the turnovers have been the dominant stories so far this afternoon.
And RPI had chances. They had it. They fumbled at the 1 back in the first possession of the game. Fumbled at the 1, didn't get a touchdown. And then in the 3rd quarter, the first possession of the 2nd half, made it down to the 14. Didn't pick up any points off that. There were opportunities there for RPI to have more on the board right now. 2nd and 8, Stevenson at the 26. 2 timeouts left for RPI. Joppy with the carry. Joppy forces himself up to the 30, and that's another timeout for RPI. 3:45 to go, and that's RPI's 2nd timeout.
So here we go. It'll be 3rd down and 4 from the Stevenson 30. And high leverage play right here. Mustangs get the first down, and they might just be able to hold on to the ball for the rest of the game.
They might.
Engineers need to stop right here, force a punt. Even if they get the punt, it's going to be a tall order. They'll probably get it back at, let's say, their own 30. With a neighborhood of about 3 minutes to play.
But only down by 3. If they can make this happen, they just have to get close enough for the field goal. Teams come to the line on 3rd down and 4 at the 30-yard line. Joppy in the backfield, 4 wide receivers. Sedgwick out of the shotgun. Looks like he wants to throw. Puts it up in the air and tipped away by the Engineers. Knocked away by RPI. I think it was Samuels who got a hand on it.
Well, you know, also...
Or Womble. Is that a 4 or a 1?
Yeah, Womble dropped back and got a hand on it as well.
Womble.
I thought he had a chance at the interception there. It's almost as though the Stevenson offensive player played a little defense to make sure that didn't go as an interception. That could have turned the whole situation around here.
So RPI doesn't have to burn another timeout on the incomplete pass. The punt team is coming out for Stevenson. Sheehan is back at his own 15 to punt. Gets rid of it. Doesn't get hit. Fair catch signaled by Spellman. He's going to take it at the 43 of RPI. So there's 3:33 to go in the game. Stevenson 10, RPI 7. RPI has it at their own 43, needing 3.
Well, and a long way to go, and take a look at what's been effective for the Engineers. They haven't gone deep with the ball since that first quarter pass to Peter Lombardi that went for 44 yards. Ever since then, everything has been pretty short. You're talking like the 5, 10, 12-yard range, and that's been primarily because Marinopolis hasn't had a lot of time to pass. He's been under pressure all afternoon from the Stevenson rush.
1st and 10 at the 43. 4 wide receivers. Marinopolis in the flat. That's complete to Munoz Watts, and he's out around the 48.
And I'm also thinking of one play that we only saw one time this afternoon, Kurt, and that was the sort of underneath screen to Munoz Watts, taking advantage of the fact that Stevenson was sending so much pressure and just letting those guys through, setting up a screen to Munoz Watts. That worked pretty well. They haven't pulled that back out of the playbook since then this afternoon.
Second down and 6 for RPI. 3:22 to go in the game. Pass, that is complete on the near side. That's a first down for RPI to Palmer.
And he got out of bounds, which is a smart play, although I don't think he was initially trying for that. It looks like he was fighting for more yards, but eventually worked his way to the left sideline and stepped out, which was...
We're not at the point where the stepping out stops the clock.
You're right.
So the clock is still running. 3:05 to go in the 4th quarter. RPI trailing by 3. They have it at the 46-yard line. 46 of Stevenson. Two receivers each side. Now RPI is going to send a man in motion to the far side. Marinopolis drops back, and he's going to get sacked. He's going to get taken down at the 49. 2:40 to go.
That looked like 99 to Sean Fitzgerald again. Not the first time we've called his name this afternoon, but he was one of 3 or 4 guys back there putting the pressure.
2nd and 13 after the sack. Marinopolis gets to Munoz Watts, 45, stiff arms a man and runs out of bounds now at the 42. And now the clock stops on the out of bounds. There's 2:18 to go.
Munoz Watts came from the backfield, kind of just drifted out to the right, had some open ground, shook off one tackle before getting to the sideline.
The clock stopped until they set the ball again. It doesn't stop permanently.
So we'll be at the 2-minute mark soon as it counts down.
3rd down and 6 RPI. 3 receivers left. Munoz Watts in the backfield. He's got 2 receptions already on this drive. Marinopolis pass, that is complete, and that's a first down. Walker Sutton is out at the 31 for the first down.
Yeah, Walker Sutton on the right side, just a quick 6 and out or so, and the defensive backs were laying off him. He had a lot of room to make that catch and get out of bounds all the way down to the 32.
Now we're under 2 minutes. The clock did stop. Pass, that is complete on the slant pattern. RPI's got it down to the 18-yard line for another first down.
And now you got to start thinking about not just the end zone. Well, let's see, we got a flag. Roughing the passer, oh boy. Roughing the passer, a late flag here on Stevenson. This is going to move it up deep into Mustang territory.
That's a horrible penalty to take at that point. That was Goldsmith on the reception for RPI. .143 to go. It'll be a 1st and 10. Ball's now at the 12. RPI trailing by 3 with 1:43 to go. They've got the ball at the Stevenson 12-yard line. Three receivers to the left, wide on the right. Lombardi cuts behind the line of scrimmage. He takes the ball, but he's not going to be able to get downfield. They're going to say, nope, the ball came loose, but they're going to say he was down. His knee went down before he lost the ball. I think
that wasn't close. He was definitely down. That one was close. but no gain there, and clock running now, a minute 25 to go. Ball at the 12, RPI on the far side right hash mark.
Yeah, I just saw the replay. His left knee was clearly down. 2nd and 10 at the 12-yard line. Now we're down to 1:10 to go in today's game. They'll put Lombardi on motion to the left. Marinopoulos has time, throws. That is complete down to the 4. Palmer has it at the 4-yard line. Clock is still running.
Nice bit of scrambling by Marinopoulos to get out of trouble and find Palmer. I mean, he had to step up in the pocket and get away from the rush. And because he didn't want to go down. If he went down in a sack, it could be disastrous. Now the Engineers have a golden opportunity, 40 seconds to go at the 4.
3rd down and 2 at the 4-yard line, 38 seconds left. Marinopoulos tosses it, Munoz Watts has it, touchdown! Got it in the flat, makes it into the end zone, and RPI takes a 13-10 lead with 33.6 seconds left.
Munoz Watts was the running back to the left of Marinopoulos. He just drifted off about 3 steps to the left, and there was nobody there. It was just the Stevenson defense had just lost track of him. By the time he made the catch, he was wide open to the end zone. There was no way they were going to catch him. There was nobody near him. And an instance there of Stevenson just losing track of one of the receivers, and Munoz Watts able to almost just jog into the end zone into the left corner right by the pylon.
McDougal out to try the extra point to make it a 4-point lead. Snap, spot, kick is up, kick is good. Again, 33.6 seconds left. RPI up by 4. They've got a 14-10 lead on Stevenson.
And we look at that drive, and probably the key play, frankly, is the roughing the passer call that moved the ball all the way down to what, the 12 of Stevenson, which set up the final push for the touchdown. Engineers had gotten that first down with Sutton Walker down inside to the 27, but the roughing the passer play a couple plays later, getting it down to the 12. And 2 key plays right before that was when Marinopoulos got out of the rush and found DJ Palmer for the completion all the way down to the 4. And then for the touchdown, again, Munoz Watts was set up as the back in the backfield to Marinopoulos' left. He just drifted off to the left, and nobody was near him. Kind of an easy run-in once he made the catch. And the Engineers now up 14-10 with just 33.6 seconds to play.
Stevenson has to get a TD. They have 2 timeouts left. McDougal, low kick. And it goes past the return man, Littlejohn. He has to retreat. He's back to his own 5 now. Running along the 5-yard line to the 10 and trying to find a way forward. Doesn't find anything, and wisely then opts to save a few seconds by stepping out of bounds. There's 25.7 seconds left, and Stevenson is back at their own 12. That is their 2nd worst start today.
At the worst possible time. And look, obviously they're going to have to try to throw deep or along the sidelines, and they've not been very effective at that at all today. The Engineers' front defensive line has really been able to pressure Sedgwick and keep him off balance. It'll be interesting to see if they bring a lot of rush. It looks like they're not. It looks like they're going to drop back and maybe just rush 3 and play everyone deep right here.
I think that's a pretty good call right now. And Sedgwick, under pressure, gets away from that. He's rolled out to his left. Now he's going to toss this one downfield and almost picked off. Perry had it in his hands, couldn't hold on to it.
He kind of just was throwing it deep. We got a late flag. Is that going to be a hold or a roughing the passer?
Or was he beyond the line of scrimmage?
Well, that's possible too.
Where did he let this one go? No, he was not. I just saw in the replay he was at the 10.
Roughing the passer. So that's going to be 15 yards and a first down. It was really, it's all nullified by the penalty, but the play itself was just a kind of a desperation heave by Sedgwick to midfield. He had one guy out there. Perry probably should have had the interception. Couldn't hang on to it, but it's all taken away by the roughing the passer penalty.
First and 10 at the 27. 16 seconds to go in the game. Pass, that's complete. Flag comes out back near the line of scrimmage. The receiver is stopped at the 43-yard line on forward progress. That's Littlejohn. And a timeout is called by Stevenson, but there's also a flag on this play.
I wonder if it's going to be someone lining up. It came from the line judge on the side, which is...
There's 11.4 seconds on the clock. So the officials are talking this one over. I think we have an injured RPI player as well. So here's the official with the call. Ineligible receiver downfield, so that wipes out the completion. So you had a lot going on here. There's a penalty against Stevenson. Stevenson takes a timeout, which I think they would have to take anyway because of the penalty.
Yeah, and they're arguing with the referees about the call, which, I mean, is, look, I know they're upset, but it's just not going to be any good at this point. So
yeah,
rather than huddling up about what they're going to try here with 11 seconds left, they've been arguing with the official for a bit.
So now the referee is out talking to the head coach for Stevenson, Ed Hoddle.
And what a turn of events here on that last drive for the Engineers. They'd been bottled up all afternoon, hadn't been able to do anything, and then finally come through on their final, what looks to be their final drive of the game, helped by a big penalty, a roughing the passer penalty.
Ball's back to the 22 for Stevenson, 11.4 seconds left in the game. Scoreboard still says 2 timeouts for Stevenson, but I clearly saw an official say Stevenson took a timeout. No, they didn't. No, clock's going to start. And now pass, that is complete to the 35-yard line to Smothers. He's down, and now Stevenson takes a timeout. Okay.
So we got 1 play left. It's going to be from the Stevenson 35, 1.5 showing on the clock right now.
Yeah, so now I question Stevenson. They had called a timeout, but I think they called it and they didn't realize there was a penalty. So the penalty stopped the clock, and then they were going to start the clock when they were ready to go. I think they should have still stuck with the timeout and saved the time, because now they're down to 1 play. They maybe could have been down to 2 plays at this point.
Yeah, it's all comes to this, and again, some key moments here. The Engineers in the fourth quarter, they looked dead. I mean, they were down 10-7, the ball deep in their own territory, hadn't moved all day when Marinopolis engineered that final drive, touchdown pass to Munoz-Watts, and things completely turning around. And barring a Hail Mary play that works here, it'll be the 2nd straight game that the Engineers rally late in the ball game to post a victory at the home field here in Troy.
They'll move the clock back to 3 seconds, which is basically no different. You're not running a play in less than 3 seconds. Still 1 timeout for Stevenson. This may be the last play of the game.
It's going to be like a...
nope, it's incomplete.
And clock shows 0.
Clock shows 0. Cedric
flag.
is
They got
throwing.
a flag.
Okay, so let's all sum this up. There were 3 seconds left. They threw it over the middle. It went incomplete, but now a flag has come out. Now, is that flag?
It looks like it's going to be pass interference on the Engineers.
If it's
there was contact before the ball reached the receiver.
So if it's pass interference, Stevenson gets another play. There would be the point of the foul, and then Stevenson would get another down. Yes, pass interference against RPI. So the game isn't over yet.
We have 1 play with 0.00 showing on the clock.
Yes, so this is essentially an untimed play. You have a play clock, but you don't have a game clock.
And what, if we look at the last play they just ran, what Stevenson's likely to do again here is not send everyone 50 yards down and then just throw it up for grabs, but maybe send people 15, 20 yards down and hope for some lateral pitchback flag football sort of action here and hope for a miracle.
Stevenson down by 4. It's 14-10 RPI. Here we go, an untimed play. Cedric drops back. looking downfield. Now he's going to toss it. It's now near the 10-yard line, and RPI just down it. Just go to the ground if you're RPI. And they're running this back, and now out of bounds. Carlos Davis got the interception, and that's the game. But Davis, go to the ground.
All's well that ends well. Yeah.
All's well that ends well. you get an interception on an untimed play, go to the ground, and the game is over. Running the ball back and just all it can do is hurt you with a fumble and going back the other way. Just go to the ground.
Well, this was a dramatic game. Even if it looks low scoring in the end, 14-10, RPI defeats Stevenson. Man, what a back and forth and momentum shift here. Stevenson looked like it had this ball game locked up. They had scored to go ahead 10-7 with just 3 minutes to go in the ball game. They had all the momentum. RPI's offense was, well, frankly, looking terrible. But the Engineers get the ball, mount one last drive. Marinopolis with some key completions. Also, Sterling Walker Sutton with a key reception. Roughing the passer penalty against Stevenson, which made a lot of difference, moved it all the way down to the 12. And finally, a 4-yard touchdown pass from Marinopolis to Munoz Watts. Out in the left flat, able to score with under a minute to go. Engineers survived the Hail Mary attempt and post a 14-10 win. 2 games, 2 last-minute victories for what? The Cardiac Kids of Troy. You know, they're 2-0, and it was a struggle today. 2 good teams. And
it was a struggle last week as well.
Yeah. And at the end, and look, let's also mention first full season since the pandemic hit. So maybe there's a little bit of that as well that factors into some of the rough moments and not so good offensive stretches that were there. But the Engineers, in dramatic fashion, put together an almost improbable fourth quarter drive, especially how they played for 3.5 quarters, and pull out the 14-10 victory here in Troy.
So it's a happy day in Troy for the RPI football fans, the RPI football team, and everybody involved. For Stevenson, it's going to be a tough ride home. It was a winnable game for Stevenson. If this had gone the other way, I don't think anybody would have been surprised if they had watched this fourth quarter. And if Stevenson had stopped RPI, I don't think there would have been a surprise there. This was a winnable game either way. And one team wins, one team loses. That's the way it works out. But for Stevenson, I think this is one that got away.
Bitter defeat for them.
This is one that got away in the last minute. And, you know, you can look back at a lot of things in the game. I mean, you can look back at the roughing the passer call that added 15 yards there. But I think that overall the defense is probably going to look back and not be happy, Stevenson's defense, with that RPI final drive. I think they're going to look back and say, regardless of the penalty, we should have stopped them. We had been stopping them. We should have been able to stop them. And, you know, it just didn't happen on that last drive. So that's going to be it for us here. I'm going to run down the scoring. And Yancey picks his offensive and defensive Engineers of the game. Less scoring than last week. No scoring in the first quarter of today's game. In the second quarter, RPI got the first score. Marinopolis with a 4-yard run with 6:02 to go in the first half. McDougal's kick made it 7-0 RPI. With 17 seconds left in the half, Stevenson got on the board. Campbell with a 26-yard field goal. It was 7-3 RPI at the half. Third quarter opportunities, but nobody could put anything on the board. And in the fourth quarter, Stevenson went ahead for the first time and the only time. 9:53 to go in the game. Joppy with a 1-yard run. Campbell's kick made it 10-7 in favor of Stevenson. But then RPI with 34 seconds left in today's game. Marinopolis to Munoz Watts on a 4-yard touchdown pass. McDougal's kick made it 14-10 RPI. And then RPI stopped Stevenson on their ensuing drive. And RPI picked up the win here today. 14-10 over Stevenson. RPI improves to 2-0 on the season. Stevenson falls to 0-2. A big loss against a very tough Johns Hopkins team last week, and then RPI, a tough loss here against RPI today. For Stevenson, they're at Delaware Valley. That's not an easy game next Saturday at 1 o'clock. Delaware Valley, by the way, in Pennsylvania, not in Delaware. They're a perennial solid team, so they've got a lot ahead of them. RPI playing the Transit Trophy game next Saturday at 2:30 at WPI out in Worcester. So that's what the two teams have coming up. So what are your offensive and defensive Engineers of the game?
Well, on offense, it has to be the quarterback, George Marinopolis. His overall stats won't look great. I mean,
how many times was he sacked? And I don't mean to bring that up as a
7 times he was sacked, and that's on the offensive line, and he didn't have a lot of time to throw. And get this, he was about 10 for 21 until that last drive, and by my count, I think he completed 7 straight passes on that final drive. The final drive went 10 plays, 57 yards, including the touchdown to Munoz-Watts. So Marinopoulos, in a day where he ran for his life a lot of times, he still ended up with 17 completions and 147 yards and a touchdown. He's our offensive player, getting it done on the final drive as the Engineers pull out the victory. Defense, look, there was a lot of candidates. The Engineers defense played really well, and I think because they kept the pressure on Sedgwick, the Stevenson quarterback, all afternoon, you kind of got to go with somebody who's up front, and we're going to say Connor Ahern, who ended up with 11 tackles. He also ended up with a sack for a 10-yard loss. So he'll be your defensive player of the day of the game. There was a lot of other candidates out there. Joe Deptula with 13 tackles was one of them as well. C.J. Lyons, the cornerback, also had 10 tackles. A terrific effort by the Engineers defense all day and by its offense on the last drive when it absolutely needed to have it.
And talking about the defense, that defense gave up no points last week. They gave up 10 today, and 7 of those 10 because of a very short field.
Yeah, a 19-yard drive on a botched punt where the snap was fumbled, and Stevenson was able to take over at the RPI 19 and punch it right in. So, again, a terrific first 2 games for the RPI defense.
Out of town, just to update you, Rochester defeated Alfred State 28-27. Union crushed Worcester State 62-13. St. Lawrence in the second, leading Norwich 14-7. That's the last we have there. Hobart 10-0 over Morrisville State at the half, and in the third, Ithaca 17, Brockport 8. So who for the Liberty League did not do well today? Rochester won, Union won, St. Lawrence is winning, Hobart's winning, Ithaca's winning. Oh, okay, so everybody is either won or winning right now. Of course, the teams that are still playing, we don't know how that's going to end up. So the Liberty League having a good weekend so far. At least they've won 3 out of 6 games already. And 3 still to be determined. So that's going on out of town. Final thoughts?
Well, the Engineers, again, the offense is struggling at times. Their offensive line really will need to step it up as the season progresses. Maybe that's a part of timing after a year layoff. Marinopoulos was struggling at times but got it done at the end. Defensively, everything seems to be clicking right now. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. The line was terrific all day. They came up with a couple of turnovers. Defense is clicking. Offense needs some work again, and maybe the context there is, everybody's coming back of a year off from the pandemic, and so maybe the offensive timing will take a little bit more. But the bottom line is Engineers 2-0 start, 2 heart-stopping victories here on the home field in Troy, and you can't ask for more than that, better than a 2-0 start.
And that's going to do it for us here from the East Campus Stadium. Before we go, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, and that includes WRPI and WRPI's coverage of Engineer football, hockey, and baseball. Also, the station WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org, and you can pick up our broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as we're sending something out over the air, we'll provide it for you on that feed. That is WRPI.org. I'd like to thank Lindsey Vogelman back at the station for making sure we got out on the air. Our next expected broadcast is next Saturday, 2:30. They're going to kick off at Worcester for the Transit Trophy game, RPI versus WPI. We are expecting to broadcast that game in the era of COVID. This is a fluid situation, and things may arise. That means we can't do it. So we are planning on doing that game next Saturday. If we're not able to, then we expect to be back here in 2 weeks for the next broadcast. But we are planning at this point to be out in Worcester to cover that game next Saturday. That's a 2:30 kickoff, RPI versus WPI. For Yancey Roy, I'm Kurt Stutt. We'd like to thank you for listening to today's game. The final score here from the East Campus Stadium, it was RPI 14 and Stevenson 10. And you've been listening to live coverage of Engineer football on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.